Hello and welcome to Masks Band on the Run. And this is a session for Gauntlet Community Online Gaming. It's a scenario that I actually ran a couple of years ago for Magpie at Gen Con. I liked it a lot. It's a great sort of conceptual setup. My name is Lowell, pronouns he, him. I'll be game mastering this. I'll have the players introduce themselves when they introduce their characters. We're going to be going through some setup things here, talking about safety tools, and then going around and getting what people want in terms of playbooks. So this game is about young superheroes, and they try their hardest, but they can't quite succeed. All of the things that they do, all of the moves they do are kind of risky. They're adult moves. If the adults can do things like they use their powers accurately, they can convince people easily. Our characters are teenagers, have a harder time with that because there's misunderstandings, miscommunications, emotions that are all happening in that. And we're going to be making our characters and then playing out from a very particular setup. Our team is going to be assumed to have been together for a bit, but something has happened and now they are wanted. They are on the run, they are wanted, and we're going to start with them on the run. We're going to kind of walk through and ask some questions about that. That will kind of take the place of the, in standard masks, the how did we come together? It's a little bit different for that. So we're going to be building our characters. The tone is, I would say, more like the sort of middle period Teen Titans, not like Titans, the DC one, if you've seen that, or even the younger Titans. It's in the vein of Young Avengers from the comic books. I would point to that. I'd point to Marv Wolfman and George Perez's run on Teen Titans. Even maybe New Mutants would be another touchstone. Basically, teens that get together on their own to try and make a difference, and they're put upon by adults. One of the things that adults will try and do in this game is tell you who you are and tell you what to do, and you have to decide how you want to react to that, how much you want to let them determine your identity. So with that in mind, we're going to, some teenage stuff that's going to be happening here, some tension and relationship things. We haven't all played together before, so we're going to be using a set of safety tools. And these are layered safety tools. And that begins with what we call lines and veils. And you'll find that in the Character Keeper. Is everyone familiar with the concept of lines and veils? Okay. So I've put that in there. I see that some people have already added to that checklist. Let me go quickly through that. You can add on to this further as you wish during the character creation process, and I'll come back and check. This is a good baseline to work from. So lines we have right now are dental horror, homophobia, racism, sexual assault, slavery, suicide, torture, and torture by the PCs. And then veils, meaning that we'll kind of fade to black or move away from issues involving alcoholism, graphic gore, harm to animals, harm to children, any sexual content, excrement, vomit, and extreme misandry or misogyny. So those are all on there as things will fade to black on. Now, we'll try and keep that in mind, but as we're playing, we have a second tool, and that is the X card, which I'm sure all of you are familiar with. It is a fallback for us. The X card says, okay, this content we've just hit, I'm not comfortable with. That can be based on a material that you find objectionable, that you find problematic, that you find wildly off tone from what we're playing. Or if you feel like we're starting to slide into lines, veils territory that we haven't quite picked up on, and you want to mark it early, you can say X card, or you can do this physical gesture to mark it. There'll be no questions asked. We will excise that content. The only thing we might try to figure out is where we need to roll back to on that. But that is always a tool that's all on the table available for you. If something doesn't bug you the first couple of times it happens, but later on it does, it's absolutely legit to X card it later, even maybe it went past a few times. That's an important distinction to make. The last safety tool that we have on the table is our open door policy, which means that if you need to leave for whatever reason, illness, not digging the game, whatever, you should feel free to do that. If you're leaving, maybe to come back, maybe tell us that you plan on being back, so we kind of know. But just recognize that you have that right as a player in this game. So with that in mind, that is our safety tool. What I want to do first is establish what playbooks everyone would like. We have a curated list of those, and that is in sort of the drop down on the player character tab. So if everyone could grab a column there in that. Greg, do you have a strong sense of what you like? I'm going to start with you. You're muted.
You'd think I would eventually learn how that mute button works. I can do whatever, so I'm fine going last. But I think the bull and the delinquent. So if Jim had something he wanted, but let's see. If not, I'll just pick one.
Okay. All right.
Where are they? Oh God, I don't even know any of these. I'm just gonna pick the Nova, and we'll see where that goes.
All right.
I've played a Nova before. It was a lot of fun.
Any objection to my taking the Beacon?
Beacon sounds good.
Yep. As established, I was interested in the Bull.
Bull.
Picking the Delinquent.
Okay. Awesome. So the PDFs for all of those are in that folder. Because you may need to look there to figure out where you're going to set your labels at, because that information is on those PDFs. When you do the drop down, it will fill in what your backstory questions are, your relationship questions, and the influence questions. It will auto-fill when you make that choice. We have a tab that has the playbook moves for all of the characters, but of course there's going to be some other things that you may have to pick that are on your PDF sheet. So you're going to want to pull that up or print it out, or if you have the book with the things in it, you can look at that. So you can choose your name and your looks, choose your abilities, put your labels at their starting points. Maybe get a sense of what you want in terms of answering those backstory questions. You don't need to fill those in like fully, and pick your moves. Now, when we're done with that, then we're going to do introductions and the relationship questions. So are there any questions before I kind of sit here awkwardly? No? Okay, good. I will be doing that then.
I assume there'll be a point when you're going over exactly what each of the 5 traits, labels, I believe they're called, do.
Yeah. Once we kind of do introductions, I'll kind of quickly look through. You can also check the basic moves tab if you want to right now, kind of see what that implies, what moves they're tied to. I think that's probably the best way to get a sense of that.
Question: does the pick of the archetype actually have an effect over what specific comic book powers we have? If I'm reading this correctly, you kind of pick whatever power set you want, regardless of which archetype you, or regardless of which playbook you pick. Your powers you define however you want, but the playbook is more sorts of subtle types of interactions and moves. Or am I way off the mark on that one?
I think that's absolutely correct.
Okay.
There'll be a set of powers that you'll see kind of echo popular characters of that archetype, but then you'll make some choices that are about the personality there as well.
Lowell, if I can ask you to take a look at what I've written so far, my main worry upon reading the beacon closer is that I've given very good answers to what is probably the wrong playbook. I'm in purple, I think third from the left.
I think that's fine. I think that's a take on the beacon. You know, the beacon though has still a sort of a center of some hope there. So you want to keep that in mind. Does that feel right to you?
Does. It
Okay.
does.
All right.
Excuse me, what are the top two things on our character sheet? I actually erased what was supposed to go there, and then I realized I had put what was there wrong. Is one of them our superhero name and one of them our character's real name?
Absolutely. So what we generally do is in that top first one next to him, we generally put the name of the superhero nom de plume, and then below that, any kind of secret identity there.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody hear kind of like a sound?
Just a
There is
little
some
bit
of
of
that going on.
little bit of background fade there. Yeah, that seems better.
Might be me then. Sorry. I'll mute myself.
It's pretty minor, I would say, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to get started going around and asking questions. If we get some backstory things you haven't quite gotten to yet, we can make that up on the fly, or we can come back to that as you would like. And we'll have you just kind of give us a background. I'm going to ask some leading questions to get a sense of that. But I actually want to start. Let's start and work to the left from right. Let's start with Novocaine. Why don't you tell us about Novocaine, who they are?
Well, yeah. So Novocaine's real name is Ishan Pitt. He is a half Asian, half South Asian boy with untrusting eyes, ragged jeans, frayed shirt, and a loose jacket. He tends to keep let's talk about his powers first.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
He has his powers are teleportation and power negation.
Ooh.
And those are from two different places. Teleportation is a mutation that he manifested at like, let's say, age 14 or 15. But power negation comes from this cult that he grew up with when, which he was raised by. And they are this cult that controls people with powers. Has to do with their belief, but he was thrown out when his own mutation manifested. And he had to, they use these sort of like, I'm envisioning the cult's powers as like magical power negation, and he had to like re-tattoo himself from memory with these magical runes to be able to retain that power. And so that's on his left arm. And he doesn't really have a costume. Like his costume is he rolls his sleeve up so that you can see his tattoos.
Okay.
Maybe he has a mask that he wears when he's in superhero mode.
What did you take move-wise?
I took Troublemaker, which is when you help a teammate through destructive, criminal, or rule-breaking actions, you can give them +2 instead of +1 when spending team.
Nice.
I don't care what you think. You can. He gets +2 to reject other people's influence. And Criminal Mind, when you assess the situation, you can always ask one of these questions: what here is useful or valuable? How could I best infuriate or provoke blank? And what's the best way in or way past?
And so let's walk through your. Let me ask you one question before we go too far. How long ago did you leave this cult?
I think I'm probably 17 now, so it's been maybe 3 years.
Okay. Did you then live on the streets? Did you have find a friend, a family member? How do you think you got by for the last few years?
I think I probably ended up in like an orphanage of some kind. Maybe even like a state halfway house, the kind of halfway house that you live in when you're waiting to find a foster home and haven't fit into one yet. And he probably breaks out of there regularly to end up on the street, but eventually ends up back there either because somebody finds him or because he needs a hot meal or something.
Well, we know you're the answer to you got your powers. Let's walk through the other backstory questions.
Yeah, so for fun, he likes to break into abandoned or unconstructed buildings. He has his teleportation power. He can do that very, very subtly, and then lets his friends in from the inside and throws parties.
Nice.
I don't know how good his friends are. Maybe he does this to like try and make people his friends.
Okay.
And who outside the team thinks better of you than you do? I think that's probably the head of this, or one of the like volunteers at this social work establishment that he lives in some of the time. Should probably give them a name. Huh?
Yeah, let's give him a name. Even just a first name would be fine.
So
Yeah.
I was actually wondering, my character is also a runaway, so we might even be at the same halfway house.
Oh, that's
awesome.
a nice connection.
Yeah. I think the volunteer's name is Priya. It's a woman.
Priya? Okay. Like older or 20-something, 30-something? What are you imagining there?
So she's a volunteer, so she's a little bit older, but not so old that she does this professionally.
Okay.
Probably like early 20s.
All right.
Maybe just out of college.
And so why do you try to be a hero?
I think deep down he's trying to be a hero as a way of getting back at these people that threw him out.
Okay.
That they think that people with powers are sort of tools to be controlled and or threats to be removed, and he just wants to prove them wrong. That that people with powers can be free and also can be helpful, I guess.
Okay.
Not a fully baked idea, but yeah.
Not just dangerous, but to make a positive impact. Why do you care about a team? Why would what would the team mean to you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think part of it is just that he needs to find people that he can be real with, that like he can be his entire self, both the runaway / orphan and also the person with powers.
So these friends that you have that you take into these abandoned places that you're trying to impress, what is the image that they have of you, and what's the image you want to project to them?
I think he's trying to project an image that he's got his shit together, that like he knows what's up, he's experienced, he is sort of streetwise, and how would they see him?
Do you think they buy that?
I think he's done this by sort of getting into trouble and doing favors for people, and maybe they more see him as useful.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that gives us good stuff. We'll get everybody else introduced, and then we'll look at the relationship questions and get that influence established. Let's move to the left and talk about Paladin.
Okay. My character's name is Adrian Marshall. He goes by Paladin. He'd prefer to be able to just use his regular name, but he's savvy enough to know that secret identities are a thing for a reason. People wiser than he is came up with that idea, so he'll go along with it. He's a skinny kid. He's kind of wiry. He wears glasses, but he's actually got some muscles if people are paying attention.
Okay.
I gave him the powers of telekinesis, healing, and shielding, but I think I saw someone else has telekinesis, so I'm happy to drop that so I don't get in someone's way.
Is something else you'd like? Oh,
I dropped it. I
Okay.
changed my stuff. Yeah. So no sweat.
Okay. The moves I took are suck it, Domitian. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. When you stand strong while dramatically under fire, roll plus savior instead of plus danger to directly engage a threat.
Okay.
I also took won't let you down. When you help a teammate, you can spend 2 out of the team pool to add +2 to their roll, which I'm guessing is better than a basic move.
Yep.
Sorry, I'm new to masks.
Normally you spend from the team pool, and you can only spend 1 to give a person a +1 to their roll. Tell us about the extras that you've got, because Beacon has some interesting choices. These are drives. These are things you want to accomplish. Do you know what those are?
Yes, I put them in the extra spot because I wasn't sure where else to put them.
Sure.
It told me to choose 4 drives, and something good happens when I do it. Help a teammate when they most need you, save a teammate's life, and those two can be very much separate things. Right. Earn the respect of a teammate I admire. Stop a fight with calm words.
So you really are you leading into that heroic and wanting to rescue people? That sounds good. Does Paladin wear a costume?
I could diversify if you need me to.
No, I love it. That's that.
Okay.
I'm emphasizing that.
Okay.
What do you imagine the costume? Does Paladin wear a costume?
I assumed it was sort of required, so I assumed just yes. Okay. He probably, there's a reason why he put it on, at least for the first time. It would probably be like almost like a peasant Ren Fair garb. Okay. Actually, wait, no, not almost. It's literally a peasant Ren Fair garb with sort of a generic looking mask, because he probably was a Ren Fair fan. And he's like, okay, well, I already have this. I may as well wear it. That way I don't have to spend my allowance at buying another costume. I can't sew or anything.
That certainly makes sense. When you use your telekinesis, is that invisible, visible? Are there wavy lines? Are there colors? What do you?
I sort of envisioned it as not really having too much of a visual effect, other than the fact that you can see, like, you could see like a plate slowly moving across the air or something like that.
Okay. Let's go through your backstory questions.
Yes, sir. All right. How did you gain your skills? I saw a construction worker slip and fall off a high building. Without even thinking, I put my hand out to slow him down, and he slowly, gently floated right to the ground safely, although he did lose his cup of coffee. I couldn't save it.
That's a tragedy.
When did you first put on your costume? I saw a street gang and a bunch of corrupt cops going at it. I had no idea who the good guys were in this thing, and I absolutely didn't want either the gang or the cops coming after me. So I put on my costume, and I just kept like flinging them away from each other so they couldn't hurt each other until they got bored and just left. Who outside of the team thinks you shouldn't be a superhero? My mom didn't come home from Afghanistan. My father's afraid that he'll lose me too. I love my dad more than anyone else alive, but I can't let him stop me from trying to help people.
So now, he's aware of your powers and your role as the Paladin?
He is.
Okay.
I tried to keep it secret, but I only lasted about 20 more minutes than the last secret I kept, which was that I stole a gumdrop from a candy store.
Fair enough. Why do you try to be a hero?
Do I have a choice? I mean, I have all these crazy things I could do, and if I didn't use these powers responsibly, then who would I even be? I mean, my mom went to defend her country, and she didn't have superpowers. She'd be disappointed in me if I didn't do my best.
Excellent. And so, why would you, Paladin, want to be on a team? What would the team mean to you?
I grew up as an only child, so now it's just my dad and me. And I really do love my dad, but it is kind of nice to have people my age and people that are in the exact same boat. And I figure, like, I wouldn't say this to them out loud, but I'm kind of steering us towards maybe less using our powers for like the ultimate party and maybe a little more using it to stop a bank robbery.
Okay. I certainly think that's fair. That gives us a good sense of your character. We'll come back to you to ask those relationship questions and figure out about influence. Let's come then to Ricochet.
Yes. Yeah, so basically, Ricochet, I guess, should we just start with basic backstory?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep, so Ricochet is the daughter of Dr. Justice, who is one of the heroes in Halcyon City, like sort of like an Iron Man inventor type.
Mm-hmm.
But he was very protective of me because, like, villains might want to come after his family, that sort of thing. So he gave me a super serum he invented that was supposed to, protect me. It didn't quite work as expected. I am protected, but basically whenever I collide with something, the kinetic energy is redirected and amplified. So if I punch someone, it'll create an explosion that'll send them flying. If someone shoots me, I won't be injured, but it'll create, a big blast, which hopefully I can redirect in a helpful direction. So my father then, he basically kept me cloistered in his hideout, partially to protect me, but also partially to protect the world from me. But I was recently able to use my powers to break out and run away. He means well, but Dr. Justice does have a darker side. He's not necessarily always in it for, the good of the world.
How so? Is he more vigilante, or is he more ambitious? What do you think?
I think it's more to show off what he can do. And he is definitely overprotective of me, and I really want to get out from under his thumb.
Okay. And do you have a costume?
Not really.
Okay.
I generally go around in street clothes, but they tend to get damaged over time as a result of my powers.
Mm-hmm. And what moves did you take?
I took Bull in a China Shop. So, I don't necessarily have to cause collateral damage, but if I'm not worried about causing collateral damage, then I can, use my powers even more effectively.
Nice.
And also, you've got a head you don't need. So if I'm trying to provoke someone with threats, shows of force, I can roll danger instead of superior, which makes sense because I can blow stuff up.
And remind me about the Bull's Heart.
Yeah, so I get to choose a lot of that's backstory, but I always have one love and one rival that are on the team. So I get +1 to any action to impress my love or frustrate my rival. And I also chose the enabler role. So whenever I provoke my love or rival, I roll danger instead of superior if I'm trying to provoke them to rash or poorly thought out action.
Okay.
Basically, I envision Ricochet, she's been sort of kept away from the world and, been made to feel like she couldn't, she was a danger to everyone. And now that she's finally free, she really wants to let loose.
Awesome. Let's look at those backstory questions.
I pretty much answered most of them.
Yeah, I think we hit and we established that Priya also tries to take care of you. So you definitely know Novocaine pretty well.
Yeah, and I think I'm there under a pseudonym.
Okay.
Because I'm still on the run.
So why do you try to be a hero?
I think mostly it's just a chance for me to finally let loose with my powers. It's not the sort of thing that's very useful in day-to-day life, but, here I can finally, really be something special.
And why do you care about the team? Why do you care about being on a team?
I think they make me feel more like I belong. Like, this is, I can be who I am, and, that's an asset, not something to be hidden away.
Excellent. All right, I think that gives us good stuff. We'll come back with you with those relationship questions. Let us come to our Nova. So tell us about Hoodoo.
Yeah. So Janelle Jackson. So I picked gravity manipulation, and and I picked the powers I picked were overcharge. So what I'm thinking about the gravity manipulation is this is kind of like sensitivity. Originally I picked telekinesis and telepathy, but then I noticed Paladin had that, so adjusted. But yeah, the gravity manipulation is right. I'm thinking she can increase gravity around objects, lighten it, but also has like a sensitivity to it. So when different objects come around her, she might be able to detect that.
Should we say that? Forgive me, I'll answer it very briefly. Should we say that since telekinesis is more broadly applicable than gravity manipulation, when it comes specifically to increasing or decreasing the speed of someone falling, you're significantly better at it than I am?
We'll see with the rolls. That'll be the thing.
True.
Is we'll find out who actually has control of their power.
Yeah.
We don't know yet.
And so overcharge, channel the full capacity of your incredible powers to overcome an obstacle, reshape your environment, or extend your senses. Elemental awareness. I guess that overlaps that a little bit. But so detecting, using the gravity fields around her to detect what's going on. Move, spend 1 burn to move to any place you choose within the scene. And then a reality storm, destructive burst.
Ooh.
And when she first used her powers, she witnessed a car about to hit her little brother in the street and abruptly stopped it with my mind.
How long ago did that happen?
I would say that was, maybe a year ago within with my powers. Who's the first person you accidentally hurt with your powers? The driver of the car flew out the windshield and hit an innocent bystander, paralyzing them.
Okay.
So, and then who outside the team helps control your powers? I had Grandma, but actually I thought I would stick Priya in there and say Priya is not necessarily a hoodoo practitioner, but comes from that community and uses that to guide a hoodoo.
Has some experience with it, knows. Okay.
And so we'll say they both come from, they both maybe have aunts or grandmas who are practitioners. So it's in the family. And then, I'd say Priya tells me I must answer the call.
Okay.
And so what I'm thinking is hoodoo is very much of a driven by responsibility and what she should do.
Costume? No costume?
No costume. Maybe one will come up, but
okay. And why do you care about the team?
Well, I would say, how about we say Priya not necessarily told me to, but Priya put me on the team.
Okay.
So, right. She cares about the team because Priya told her she should be on it.
Okay.
So it was like, these are the people you should be hanging out with.
Yeah.
I question the wisdom of that, but maybe she knows better than I do.
It's not like I literally have an ability that helps me provoke my teammates to make unwise decisions.
Yeah, this will go well. This will go very well.
Yeah.
I think that gives us enough. We'll come back to you with those relationship questions in just a moment. We're going to walk through and get the relationships and influence set, which means we're going to swing back to Novocaine. You have 2 relationship questions. You'll ask this. You can suggest that somebody might want it, or you might put it out there on offer. So which one do you want to start with?
Let's start with the second one.
Okay.
Somebody pulled an awesome if illegal stunt with me.
Oh, who do you think that was?
I'm not sure. Does anyone feel like that's you?
That sounds like Ricochet to me.
It could be me. I was just about to say.
Yeah. What was the stunt that you and Ricochet pulled off?
Let's see. I think so. Normally I break into abandoned or under construction buildings.
Mm-hmm.
But one time we managed to We managed to do this at a place that was just like closed for the weekend.
Okay.
Like someplace really fancy, like I don't know, like a hotel. And we managed to like get the dance floor going and the like disco ball and got the DJ booth operational and everything. And like people we didn't even know were showing up, like hearing word about it from like text message and stuff like that. It was great.
That's amazing.
That is pretty awesome. And what about your other relationship question?
Keep trying to impress somebody with my antics. Let's see. I think that's probably Paladin.
Okay.
Because like Paladin has a moral compass, right? And I would like to feel like I have a moral compass, but I don't want anybody to tell me what that is. So I want to sort of prove to somebody, and I guess that's you, that these decisions that I'm trying to make on my own are like legit, and nobody needs to be telling me what to do.
And your influence thing is you care way more than you let on. So all three of your teammates all have influence over you.
That's everybody.
So everybody can write in Novocaine on their list of have influence on. Let's come to Paladin. What is your first relationship question that you want to do?
I'm going to handle the second one first.
Sure.
You've got to prove yourself to blank before you feel like a real hero. That would almost certainly be Hoodoo. I would sort of see her as an even cooler version of me.
Okay. Are you okay with that, Hoodoo?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Do I write that down somewhere in the Excel
you can just
file?
put that either in the blank space or right below it.
That makes sense.
Okay. And what about your other relationship question?
I don't know if I have an answer just yet. Possibly Novocaine.
Okay. They're certainly trying to impress you with their antics, so there is a sort of synergy there.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I just can't hide from myself that they are legitimately fun to be around.
Nice. And you're so excited to be here. You're giving influence to all three of your teammates as well. So everyone else may write in that you have influence over Paladin. Okay, the bull. You have to pick your love and your rival.
That's correct. So I think the love definitely has to be Novocaine, Ishan. We both are staying in the same place. We both left sort of a bad situation, run away from that. Plus, you know, after the whole scene with the hotel, like, I don't see how it could be anyone else.
Does that feel right to you?
That totally feels fine. Is that...
It doesn't necessarily need to be a romantic love, if that's the question.
I was going to ask, is it... do I know about this, or is this like
It could be, though. I think...
Have you expressed your love to Novocaine?
I think I probably am romantically interested in Novocaine, but I haven't actually ever said anything about it.
Okay. That's a teenager right there.
Yeah.
Okay. And who is your rival?
Yes, I think my rival... What's Hoodoo's personality like? A little more.
She's uptight and locked down. So puts a lot of pressure on herself. Yeah.
I think it probably would be Hoodoo then.
Okay.
Because, you know, she's more locked down and I'm sort of rebelling against being locked down. So there's sort of like a fundamental disagreement there, like a philosophical disagreement.
I like that.
And both of you get
yeah.
influence on me.
And then Hoodoo, which relationship question do you want to start with?
You once hurt blank when you lost control of your powers. I would say, let's say Ricochet,
Okay.
just to complicate the whole rival thing. You know,
Okay.
like, you know, crossed wires sort of deal. And then you hang out all the time with blank to blow off steam. I'm thinking,
So, how did you hurt Ricochet?
Good question. Yeah.
Because
yeah.
so it's interesting because normally Ricochet can't be hurt really by kinetic damage.
Does it have to be physically hurt?
No.
No.
Yeah. How about yeah, well, how about you were trying to do, it was in some sort of battle, right? You tried to do something impressive to impress let's see, Novocaine? Is that your?
Probably, yeah.
And I negated that completely. And I you know, you fell flat on your face. And so I realized I pissed you off, but like I thought I was trying to help you. Like I didn't know what was going on. And so, yeah.
I fell over and caused a small sad explosion.
Yeah. Yeah. And then
Aw.
let's see, there's Paladin. Yeah, let's say Paladin. And we, you know, I don't know if Hoodoo really blows off steam, but oh wait, I put this over here. But I hang out with you because I feel like you're the person I should hang out with. So yeah, I'm most comfortable with you. I'm most comfortable with you.
Conventional, yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking too is, you know, are we staying in our safe zone by hanging out with each other? Are we not? Are we avoiding other things?
That's something to explore.
And you said you're locked down. So
Yeah.
which teammate do you want to give influence over you to?
I'm going to say Paladin.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Paladin, you will record that. All right. We're about 2 minutes after the hour. We're going to take a break here. We're going to come back at 10 after, and we're going to do setup for how it came about that you're all on the run right now. And then we'll figure out where we go from there. Sound okay? Okay. So 10 after we'll be back. So you, as a team, have been doing things together for the past several months. Now, you do have some notable members amongst your team that can cause more than a little bit of collateral damage, sometimes more purposefully than others. So maybe you haven't gotten the best reputation as supers yet, but you know you're young. But you have, over the last few months, had some successful bringing down of supervillains. And in particular, you have repeatedly fought a supervillain called Captain Swan. Irritating because he's a little bit more old school supervillain, pirate themed, cybernetic arm, laser sword, you know, all the stuff.
Cybernetic pirates. Ugh.
It sounds like a game of smash up. Take him.
he has had other supervillain partners before, the privateers of crime. But last time you ran into him, you crossed paths with him at the Museum of Natural History. And maybe not taking it particularly seriously, you know, fighting him kind of one-on-one. And in the middle of this, again, some news attention, things like that on it, your powers exploded. And you destroyed the museum, completely leveled it. And all they found of Swan was a broken sword and a cybernetic limb. And right now, authorities are looking to bring you into custody, essentially to stand trial for destruction of public property, for manslaughter, fighting a supervillain. You are wanted teen heroes in this city, but you know you didn't do it. You're certain that it wasn't your fault. But let me ask the Nova a question. During this fight with Captain Swan, how did you get distracted? What maybe made you lose concentration or lose track of what was going on in the fight?
Okay. One thing I'm thinking is, I said she doesn't have a costume. I think what it is she keeps changing her costume because she feels like she should have one, but is always overthinking it. And maybe, yeah, how about she had some sort of cape on this time, and she got tripped up in it, and causing her to accidentally, change what she was messing with gravity, and like caused some major destruction in
even before this whole thing went down, your slip up cost you, you're still embarrassed about that, and then it was just moments later that everything went up.
Exactly. Yep.
Let me ask then, Ricochet, why do people, like, when they hear this on the news, they're like, yep, we can believe that? What is it that you and your team have done before that would make them believe that you could do something like this?
I think we previously were fighting a villain in like an industrial park, like a lot of abandoned buildings and so on, where we didn't really need to be careful. And I think during that fight, we did end up leveling like some old decrepit building. So they know we're capable of it. Like, we would be more careful, obviously, in the Museum of Natural Art.
But they've already seen that you can bring down a building that's scheduled for demolition, that
Right.
you can absolutely do that. So that makes sense. Let me ask, in this fight against Captain Swan, when everything went wrong, Paladin, what did it seem like Captain Swan was doing in the Museum of Natural History before this all went wrong?
Some of his guys were just sort of like, they had sledgehammers and they were smashing and they were just like randomly smashing some of like the ceramic pottery, like the Native American pottery and the ancient Egyptian pottery, and we certainly had to stop them. But Hoodoo was smart enough to figure out, wait a second, nobody assembles a heist just to break things for fun. There's a distraction. I agreed with her. So when we went to investigate, the captain himself was in the Asian cultures room, and I saw him. He had kind of opened up a display case. He was taking something out and putting it under his coat. I couldn't see what it was. I stopped him from grabbing anything else, and mostly by distracting him. I couldn't take him in a fight. He beat me up severely. Right. But I could tell that whatever it was he wanted, it was from either the Chinese or the Japanese rooms, and whatever it was could fit inside his coat, but I have no idea what it actually was. Does that work?
That sounds good. And it means that the hench persons in their pirate costumes that were smashing things up weren't hurt in what went down, because they were in another part of this. So Captain Swan's the only person killed in all of this. Let me ask Novocaine, what superhero has vowed to bring you four to justice?
I think his name is Hoplite. He's like a Greek-themed superhero, and he's got like a spear and helmet, and he's very like buttoned up and by the rules, and very that way in appearance too. It's always like polished, and he was the first superhero to respond to the incident.
Absolutely.
And yeah,
and he's
he
one
was
of
not
those
happy about the way we handled it.
Got like this shield thing he flies in called the Aegis, and he's doing Greek mythology and stuff, but he is clearly not Greek. He's clearly white as white can be, but he really liked apparently the Greek motif. And yeah, he's gone on TV, and he has declared that he will defend the city against these miscreants. And that name is probably stuck. Like you probably weren't sure about your team name yet, but now they're calling you the Miscreants. So when we take up, it's probably been about 12 hours since this all went down, and you have been kind of moving, trying to figure out where to go, because there is just a big manhunt, and some of you have very public IDs. So when we take up with the four of you kind of in an alley, maybe catching your breath, trying like first time you had a chance to figure out where to go. When we zoom in on that, what are you saying, Novocaine?
Sorry, I missed a little bit of that. Where are we?
So let's say you're in an alley, in downtown. You've kind of been moving from place to place, trying to figure out where you need to go next. You've seen lots of cops around. You know that there's lots of super attention. So this is the first time before maybe really like caught your breath and had a chance to talk about where do we go from here.
I think I'm talking to Ricochet, and I'm like, well, I don't know if there were cameras in there, but museums usually have cameras, right? I don't think we can go.
They probably did.
But they don't see our real. But they didn't see our real identities. They saw our superhero identities, or vice versa, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately for me, I'm sure, my dad knows I was there at this point. He's probably coming after me.
I mean, we need to find some place to hide out. Maybe we should. I mean, we know lots of abandoned buildings. Maybe we should just hang out there for a while.
Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Lay low for a bit.
Are they going to look for us there? Do they know that we like hanging out at abandoned buildings? Do they know about your party scene that you always do?
How public do you think that is, Novocaine?
What do I think it is?
How public do you think it is? How do you have a reputation for that happening?
I probably have a little bit of a reputation for that happening. Right. Yeah, but I don't think it's like associated with my superhero identity.
Okay.
In fact, I think I'll say like, oh, don't worry about it. It was Novocaine at the museum. It's Ishan that throws the parties.
I cut you off a little bit there, Paladin. Let me come back to you.
Oh, I was just going to say, I mean, if we want to split, if I did hit the ATM, I've got like $80 in my wallet. I mean, do we want to just find a motel and split a room for a couple of nights? Like pay for it and then have it be ours and nobody can come in if we don't let them?
pretty public, isn't it?
Not if we stay in the motel room. But your idea might work better. You're right. But no parties. Cut to a
Yeah,
party.
of course.
And I think you all start because you hear sirens coming this way, but it takes you a second to realize that that's not police sirens, police flashers, but you will see like several fire trucks go past, ladder and pump trucks go past and head down the block like there's something going on.
Uh-oh, there looks like there's trouble. Should we check this out?
We have to. I mean, somebody might need help. We could do it like quiet like, can't we?
Well, do we need to occlude our face? Should we
I didn't hear you.
hide our face?
That's a good idea.
Should we just go black rag around the head like early Daredevil?
Hats?
Maybe if we do something good publicly, then people will realize that it wasn't us who would have destroyed.
I was thinking maybe we just run into the dollar store, pick up some hats, scarves, sunglasses. My dad loves the dollar store.
Money bags over here that can afford the dollar store.
My dad loves the dollar store. Everything's only $1.
I don't think we should wait. We gotta.
Yeah.
You're
if
right.
something's on fire, we gotta fix this.
You're
now.
right. Yeah, getting in trouble isn't as important as helping people. Let's go.
So if you make your way down a couple of blocks, you will see that there are several ladder trucks. They're just getting set up, pump trucks. You'll see it's about a 6-story, looks like apartment building. And it looks like the lower floors, the first 3 floors have caught fire bad. And it is just getting up to the upper floors. You can see that clearly the people up on the roof, and the building is just in bad shape. So, Novocaine, what would you do?
I'll look around and see. There are like neighboring buildings, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can get up to the top of a neighboring building, and I'm going to try and get the people off of the roof with the teleportation powers.
Okay. Let's frame everybody's actions up, and then we'll resolve them. So you rush up to a neighboring building, going up the stairs. We see you heading up to the top of the roof. What are you doing, Paladin?
I'm reviewing the basic moves and what my characters are and what my my stats are, because I realized I forgot to ask what specifically the stats refer to. That one's on me. Sorry.
Okay.
Also, speaking of stats real quick, I think everyone should, in the stats line on your sheet, I think most of them say you get to add +1 to a stat
you
over
get
what you
whatever.
start with. So don't forget about that.
I forgot
you.
to do so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, could you just let us know very briefly what they refer to?
Oh,
I mean, I can
absolutely.
guess, but I don't want to guess.
So danger means you're dangerous. It's people think you're dangerous, and it's used for fighting, for directly engaging a foe. Freak means people think you're weird, like it kind of inhuman in some ways, and that's for just unleashing your powers to do things.
So would you roll freak in an attempt to convince people that you're not freakish, or if you're like literally rolling with it, as in, I have 8 heads and they all have 50 teeth, do as I say?
So it's primarily freak is primarily used for unleashing your powers, like when you're actually going to use your weird powers.
Gotcha.
When you comfort and support someone, or when you try to read someone else, like get a sense of what's going on with them, that's when you roll mundane. That's kind of the normal person, the image of yourself as being able to connect to other people. Savior is used when you're trying to defend someone, when you're trying to protect, and then superior is used both for looking around, assessing a situation, but it's also used to provoke someone.
All right.
Does that sound cool?
That makes sense.
Okay. So what would you do, Paladin? You see Novocaine take off. You kind of know that he's running up to do that. What would you do? A lot of people around, a lot of witnesses, fire people around here. Cops are going to be coming too. What do you want to do?
Now, is this the museum that we're running away from that they're going to, or is this a different
No, this is an
building?
apartment building. The museum you blew up is 12 hours back.
Do I hear any screams coming from a particular floor?
Oh yeah, I mean, there are people shouting, their windows getting broken up on the fourth, fifth, sixth floor.
Probably what I'm gonna do is, if I see the fireman trying to get the ladder up to where it needs to go, I'm gonna surreptitiously use my telekinesis, not to fling it, but so that it moves at maybe roughly 2 or 2.5 times the speed to get them there just a little faster. And I'll hold. And if I see anybody jumping, I'm gonna nope, slow.
That sounds perfect. We'll come. So we got that set up.
Yep.
Ricochet, what are you gonna do?
I'm looking for a path. So I'm gonna like take off my sweatshirt and like wrap it around my mouth and try to find a route in where I could hopefully help bring some people out.
Absolutely. So right now you're getting set and assessing the situation to kind of judge what's going on and find that perfect way in.
Yeah.
Okay. And then finally, what are you doing, Hoodoo?
A couple questions. Are we doing the team pool stuff?
You will start with a one team in your team pool because this apartment fire is a threat.
Okay, cool. Do we write that anywhere, or
I'll keep track of that.
Oh, you got that? Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Should I roll burn?
Yeah, let's have you roll burn. So
Okay.
What does it look like when you power up?
Yeah. Basically, you could think of she kind of closes her eyes, and we'll say to help her focus, she does some sort of, we'll say some sort of hoodoo ritual modification, right? She like maybe moves with her hands a little bit, and you almost like she sees all the gravity wells of all the objects. Do you know what I mean? She sees like, things pulling, and so she's just kind of tapping into that field. So
let's have you roll for your burn.
So plus conditions. So I have no conditions.
No conditions marked right now.
7.
Okay. So what condition do you want to mark?
I'm thinking, let's see, maybe guilty, because she's like, should we even be doing this? Are we going to cause more damage, sort of deal?
Absolutely. And guilty impacts provoke and assess. So you've got that marked, and then you've got 3 burns. So you've got that burn. Yeah. I think that's sort of a peripheral thing. So what is the action that you want to take?
Yeah. So let's see. We have apartment building on fire. Sounds like it's pretty tall. Like
6 floors.
6 floors. That's tall enough. And so we have the delinquent was Novocaine was what, teleporting up there?
Going up to the top of a neighboring building and then trying to use teleport to get people off of there.
Ah, gotcha. And then Beacon was running up the ladder?
Using a TK to assist the firefighters.
Okay. And then actually I missed what Ricochet was doing.
You see her, like, she's
I'm preparing to get into this building, but need to figure out a way first because the lower floors are on fire.
Okay, yeah. What Hoodoo's gonna do is she is going to. Are there people at the windows?
Yeah, on some of the upper floors, yeah.
Okay, yeah, she's gonna try to lessen their gravity.
Okay.
So that they could float.
All right. So let's start with Novocaine. You get to. Are you going up the stairs, or do we see you teleport up to the top? What do we see?
Yeah, I think I teleport up to the top.
Okay.
And the way that looks is it looks like I'm putting my foot through a window that isn't there, and then just like reality shatters instead of a window, and I step through the broken window and I end up where I'm going.
Perfect. So you're gonna unleash your powers to try and bring these people over. Why don't you roll with Freak?
Okay, that's +1.
And there is a roller in the chat, but you can also feel free, if you have dice at home, you're welcome to roll your own dice.
All right, I rolled a 6.
Rolled a 6. So you will get up to the top, and you're kind of exhausted there, and you try to start to bring people through. You maybe to teleport them. Do they see a window they need to step through, or how does that look to them?
Yeah, I think it's the same for them. They might actually see like shards of the window falling next to them, and they see through that to where I am.
And they see you and they pull back because they're afraid of you.
Can I use my oh, I meant to mute myself for the past 10 minutes, and instead I turned off my camera. Sorry if anybody heard me clicking and typing or laughing at something. Sorry. Can I use my my move to try to bolster them, which I spend 2 points from the team pool, but I also add +2 to their roll, bumping that 6 up to an 8.
Well, right now we have one team in the team pool.
But also an 8 is the same as a 7. So
yeah.
No,
oh,
no.
Oh, did you get a 7, not a 6?
I got a 6.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
No,
okay.
meaning if I think that meant if I had gotten a 7, that would have been enough.
So tell me how you would support Novocaine in this, and you can spend the team from the team pool to boost them up.
Are people willing to use it right now?
What do you think, Novocaine?
It's a shared resource. Are people willing for me to?
Let's engage the meta a little here.
Metagame wise, I'm fine with like starting to add complications immediately.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do your myth. I think they will pull back. They're afraid of you, and I think that I need you to. Let me see here on your character. I need you to move your danger up 1 and drop your mundane down by 1. As you see these people who clearly had, the news cycle has been telling them that you're a dangerous person. Their building's on fire. They don't know if you did this. They don't know if you started the fire.
Is this them using influence on me?
Yes, it is.
I would like to reject that influence.
Okay. So when you reject influence, let me get to that move here. And you've got a bonus for doing this, right? Go ahead and make that. Oh, let me go to the thing here. So when you reject someone's influence, roll. You just roll flat with that bonus.
So I only get the bonus from that move.
Yep.
Cool. +2. Whew. I rolled the same thing, but I got +2 instead of +1 this time, so I got a 7.
Okay. So you reject their influence. You kind of keep yourself together. You don't listen to what they have to say. You get to choose one. You can clear a condition or mark XP. You can shift a label up and 1 down of your choice. Or you can cancel the influence and take +1 forward, which maybe not applies because this sort of is the public.
Okay. So okay, I'm gonna act immediately to prove them wrong. So I want to mark potential here.
Okay.
And acting to prove them wrong. So their opinion is that we are dangerous, right?
Yeah.
I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look at them. They look afraid, and I'm, of course they're afraid. I'm sitting here with a black mask. They can't see my face. I'm just this punk that broke a window in front of them. I'm gonna jump through the window and say, and I think there's like flames coming from the doors of this building.
Sure,
I'm going to
yeah.
come through and be like, look, you need to get out of here. I will make sure that you have time. I'm going to hold the flames back. And I just like pull my jacket off and I'm starting to beat at the flames myself.
So mark a potential for their fail and then mark another potential for that. And you're over, you've kind of leapt over into that building and your hands on. So you were going to assist the firefighters using your powers. Is that what I heard, Paladin, kind of assisting?
That's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to help them out. And if I can use plus, it says defend when you defend someone or something from an immediate threat. I assume that can involve your powers as well. I do sort of have the shield and the telekinesis power. What I might like is if I see a fireman running in and they might get trapped by something, I'm going to see if I can get it out of their way. Like say, some debris falls on them or falls in their way. I'm going to be ready to just sort of shunt it out of the way.
I think that's a perfect thing to do. So
that is plus savior, which
okay.
I have a +2 in, which makes me happy.
Let's have you roll.
All right. I haven't actually 2d6 +2.
Oh, there's no roller in the chat in this.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Where would I go? There's a little link there for a roller you can use, or you can roll your own dice at home. Here, I'll drop it in the chat again.
Please. All right. Highlight it and copy it, and then put it in a web browser. Otherwise, it will load up Internet Explorer.
Yeah.
A moment, please.
Sure, sure.
2d6, and I'll just remember to add the +2.
That's perfect.
I don't need you to name it. I just need you to roll it. Oh, yeah, there's a +2, in fact.
So at the top is a create a roll. If you want to build a roll, you just set the number of d6 you want to roll and then roll the dice at the bottom.
Oh, there we go. Okay. I don't know if it's public or not, so let me move.
That's an 8, looks like.
Oh, it's not good. I was going to face
But I think you only rolled 1 d6. You should need to roll another d6.
Okay. I thought I did 2 right here.
Well, I only see 1 d6 being rolled there. So you got a 6 and a 5.
Subtract 2 from that. Yeah.
So that's a 13 you got on that. So that is a spectacular defense there of people. So when you do that, you keep them safe and you get to choose. Do you want to add a team to the pool? Do you want to take influence over the firefighters, or do you want to clear a condition?
I don't think we have any conditions. I would probably either add the team or take the influence. I think I might take the influence because I assume that's sort of something I can call in later to be like, hey, no, we know these guys. They help people out of a burning building. Leave them alone.
So you can put firefighters under have influence over at that point. And yet some of them have gone in and you're kind of pushing it back, and maybe some of them see you doing this. And then what do we see? Ricochet, let's have you roll that.
I think I want to modify a little bit
Sure.
or clarify. So I think my teammates seem to mostly be focusing on the top floors. I don't really have such an ability to worry about them, so I'm looking specifically for if there's anyone in trouble on the bottom floors that I could listen.
Okay. Do you want to read it as
I had actually been thinking the lobby as well because I'm not flying, so I figured they have to get out of the building somehow, and if they ain't using a ladder, it's through the front doors. But I can do as you list. I don't mind redirecting wherever you need.
So Ricochet, do you want to read that as like we just see you going in pell-mell, unleashing your powers to try and do this, or do you want to do it as a defend? What do you feel like?
Got
a couple ways
unleashing my powers. Try to create a pathway through the flames for anyone trapped in the lower floors.
Okay. So let's have you roll with Freak.
Yeah, I think basically what's happening here is, if there's debris or so on in the way, I'm basically just punching them out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
That is a 7.
That is a 7. So I think that maybe you haven't had to deal with heat and smoke before. Your powers are kinetic. And you are able to push the flames aside and falling debris aside. But when you get in there, you're just overwhelmed. Smoke in there, the heat is something. What condition do you want to mark?
I'm gonna go with insecure, maybe.
Okay.
I think this feels like my powers may not, like I was hoping they would help me, but it seems like they might not actually help in this situation as much. And
Absolutely.
I'm insecure about that.
So you're in there, you're using this, but you are able to, like, there are a couple people on the interior, like you get up the stairs to the second floor and you're able to kind of move some things aside to get a couple people that are trapped and get them out of there. Does that seem fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Hoodoo, you're helping to, get people off using your gravity powers to do that, right? So that feels like unleash your powers, unless you're using one of your, you think one of your base powers would do this. You could, for example, overcharge. You are muted though.
I'm just going to stay muted for the rest of the game if
Okay.
that's okay with everyone. Yeah. Actually, I don't want to pull that out yet.
Okay.
For some reason. We'll just so yeah, the idea is I'm trying to the people at the things lessen their gravity. So they're just kind of floating.
Okay.
And yelling like, "I'll guide you down." I won't drop you. Don't worry about that. Don't think about me dropping you.
Let's have you roll freak.
All right. Freak. Freak is a 2. Let's see. Bam. That's a 9.
That is a 9. So I think that you will be able to do that. But even as you're kind of starting to do it and getting people down.
I have a question real quick.
Sure, absolutely.
So someone could help me and use team to bump that up to a 10? Is
Yeah,
that how it works?
Absolutely. If somebody wanted to help you, we've got one team in the team pool right now. They could assist you.
Is anyone up on the upper floors? I think is Novocaine.
Novocaine is up there.
I am up there. Yeah. How would I help you here?
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a jerk thing to be doing, but I think I'm cracking open windows for like in people's windows so it looks like they're closer to the ground than they actually are. So they'll like jump through and it's sort of a shortcut to the ground. They're still going to fall out of the window, so you still have to hold them up, but so that they're just not as scared.
Okay.
Well,
I
and
like
that also lets me move them faster too, right? Because not having to guide them down several floors. So
absolutely. So I think that with that you'll be able to get a goodly number of these people down and out of here. The firemen are spraying the lower floors with water. They're spraying some of the upper floors to kind of do that douse down. We've still got a few people up on the roof. We still got a few people up where Novocaine is on the upper floors, but lower floors are clear and the firefighters are working there. So Novocaine, just a few people left up here where you are. What do you want to do?
It seems like sort of the situation is well in hand.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a second to what's the move? Assess the situation.
Sure.
And I don't know how well this lines up with the questions, but I'm basically trying to figure out what caused the fire and if it's still around.
I think that's absolutely a thing to do. Let's have you go ahead and roll superior.
Not rolling well today. I got a 5.
You got a 5.
I still get to ask one question though.
Yeah.
I can ask. Sure, I'll ask what here is useful or valuable to me.
Let me think here. I think that people have run out of their rooms and things, and you turn around and someone has left a pile of cash on their table. Like they ran out, and you know, there's a few $100s sitting there on the table. You could easily take that, and that'd help you all through the next couple of days.
Yeah, I think I'm walking up to that and like stuffing it into the pockets of my jacket, and I haven't decided yet whether I'm going to keep it or give it back. Probably keep it, but.
And you're kind of on, like, let's say you're on
It's gonna burn. It's gonna burn anyway. I mean, you're saving the money. We're saving people. You're also saving their money.
You're on this like the just below the roof. You're on the 6th floor there. You've gotten people out, but you grab this, and I think as you're staying there, suddenly the roof gets torn off.
Snap.
And flies away, and you will hear this woof of a superhero landing, and you will see Hoplite up. He's landed on the roof, and he's looking right down at you.
And I
you have a bunch of money in your hand.
Like the money hanging out of my pockets.
Let's come to a Paladin. Paladin, you're like, okay, we've got things handled here on the 1st floor. We're getting this set, and you kind of look up trying to see where Novocaine and Hoodoo have been doing that thing, and you kind of see Novocaine in the window, and then you see the Aegis shield, this flyer with Hoplite, and you see him leap out onto the roof of the building.
Oh, good. I mean, I'm sure I'm conflicted. Like, crap, we're in trouble, but he's definitely going to save all the rest of the civilians. I don't think anyone's going to die. I think, I mean, we might get a spanking, but I don't think anybody has to die here. I'll ask one of the firefighters. Do you know where anybody else is that hasn't been rescued yet? I can communicate with Hoplite.
There's just a few people up on the upper floors. I think at this point you've gotten a lot of people out.
Hoplite, check the top floors. I think those might be the only people still trapped.
You're 6 floors down, and there's a fire raging. I don't think he's going to hear you from here.
Okay.
Hey, we're new at this. Okay.
Okay. Wait. Actually, I'll shout that and then realize I don't have super communications. I'll probably, assuming that there's like something on the ground, I'll grab onto it, use it to kind of lift myself up by it, and just shout, Hoplite, check the upper floors. We think that's where the only people left are.
Absolutely. I think there's no role for this necessary. You can fly up there so Hoplite has eyes on you and can hear you. And
I will emphasize, I don't look especially cool. I'm not like, standing awesomely. I grab like maybe a pipe, and while I'm using the telekinesis to lift myself up, I'm just using my arm muscles to hang on to it. If I had like a big flat thing, I could have stood on it, but I'm in a hurry. So I'm like, Hoplite, check the upper floors.
Let's come to Ricochet. Ricochet, would you push forward to the upper floors to get out, or would you come back out the 1st floor? What do you think?
I think the flames are definitely it seems like I'm not protected from the heat and the smoke. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna go out the entrance again with the rest of the people. But then I probably see Hoplite up there.
Well, you definitely see your pal Paladin flying up and shouting out to Hoplite, drawing his attention.
Oh crap. We have cell phones. I'm gonna group text everyone. Let's get out of here before we're caught. We don't know what Hoplite can do. I'm going to look for an escape route.
Okay.
I'm sure I hear my phone. I'm sure I feel my phone vibrate, but this ain't Looney Tunes. I can't just.
So I think that if you want to escape, get away, and you take off, you can do that.
But not with Ishan still up there.
Yeah.
All right. Shoot. I need a cool way to get up there. So
Hoodoo's
you know what?
down
I
here.
have an idea. There are fire hoses and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So fire hoses generate a lot of kinetic force.
A lot of it.
So I think I'm going to jump in the way of one of the fire hoses and redirect the energy downwards to propel myself upwards. It'll probably damage the street pretty badly.
Yeah, that's definitely unleash your powers.
All right. So roll that freak again. Oh, that's a 6.
That is a 6. So I think that absolutely works really well. Much better than you thought it would. And as you overshoot the building,
oh crap.
You go past the window where Novocaine is, and you start to arc over and go over Hoplite, go over the building, and you're coming down on the other side. What condition do you want to mark?
Oh God. I think guilty.
Okay.
Because I was trying to help Novocaine here, but I messed up.
You're flying. Hoodoo, you've been helping Novocaine get people down. You see this whole thing going with Hoplite. You see Paladin go up, and then you see Ricochet.
I'm just like, what the heck is that girl doing? Oh my God. And for a second, I'm like, oh man, if I try to help her, she's going to get pissed off again. But I'm going to try. I'm going to, well, what I'm going to do is kind of clue in on her, herself, on the other side, and try to, I would say, yes. Well, I guess if she falls, is she okay? Does she not damage from a big fall?
I'd be okay.
Yeah. She's going to destroy the street.
Okay. Yeah, and who knows what's on the other side? There's probably firemen on the other side too. So yeah, I'm going to try to detect her. I don't know if this is like a combo move, but kind of detect her and slow it down.
I think you have your senses can extend. I think that's good for the fiction. I think this is rolling defend.
Okay. Would this be not overcharge? I guess I'm fine with defend.
Defend is savior.
Savior +1. All right, let's see what we get. Bam. 3. That's a 4.
It's a 4. The good news is you get to mark XP.
Awesome.
The bad news is that your powers extend themselves, and you definitely stop Ricochet from like falling, but you also will hear this crunching, and the other side of the building, it's already burning and it's already weakened. The other side of the building gets hit by some of the gravity waves, and it starts coming down.
You know what it was? It was that dumb text. That dumb text screwed up my concentration.
Do I also have to worry about losing my grip on the piece of metal pipe that I'm holding onto, or
you're on the closer side, so you haven't gotten hit by that. Hey, but you're safe, Ricochet.
So I drift to the ground.
You drift to the ground
as the building starts to collapse.
Starts to collapse and fall on you.
Oh dear. So I'm not really safe.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Well, I mean, I am safe. That's not something that would hurt me.
Yes. Novocaine. you see Hoplite looks down at you, and then you see him look up, and you hear Paladin shouting, "Hey, you should get the people off the roof. Hey, you do." What do you do, Novocaine?
I'm not going to run from this self-righteous asshole.
Good call.
I'm going to turn to him and say, this isn't what it looks like. We're just here saving people. Same as you, right? That's what you do, save people.
You trying to provoke him?
I am trying to provoke him to focus on the fire and leave dealing with us until later.
Absolutely. Let's have you roll provoke.
Right. What is provoke? Is that superior?
That is superior.
Good roll. I got an 11.
You got an 11. So I think he sees you. He sees Paladin coming up and he goes, "Don't think this is over. Wait till I get my hands on you miscreants." And he runs and he's grabbing people up and, Herculean leap over to the next building and then back on the last few people that are here. And Paladin, you get up to where Novocaine's at. And you see Novocaine, even as Hoplite is starting to get these last people off of there.
I got to learn how to skateboard. I need to do more chin-ups. Novocaine, what do you need?
I think we need
Hoplite's
to
getting
get out of
close
here.
to being done. Yeah, he's gonna be done.
I think we need to get out of here before Hoplite turns the attention back to us.
All right. I'll sort of like slowly land down now. You got this? Because my arms are getting tired. Oh, I need to carry a skateboard. I really do. Ow. Or a sled. And when we get on the ground, I'll do like a, if there's a crowd around, I'm like, by the way, what city are we in?
We'll say Halcyon City just because it's a campaign city.
Halcyon City Fire Department!
So I think it's no problem for you to get to the ground with this, but now you're kind of trying to provoke the crowd, right? You're trying to get them going?
I think so. It's like, yeah, fire department. They're there they're there when we need them. I don't need the whole crowd adoring us. It's enough that the firemen do. Yeah! And then we'll sneak out through the applause.
Why don't you roll provoke, roll superior?
All right, that's 2d10 plus 6.
2d6.
No,
plus...
that is 2d6 plus 2, sorry.
Yes.
Okay. Roll with me. 2d6. Okay. 2d6. Create a roll.
No, did you put in the standard dice, just click the number of d6 up to 2, and at the bottom hit roll the dice.
Oh, that's at the bottom. Okay,
yeah.
That explains it.
What's the plus 2 from?
I'm rolling superior, which is my, I think it's my big... Wait, no, what's superior? I'm cheating.
Is
Sorry,
0.
My superior has no modification. Sorry. I am a cheating cheater who cheats. 2d6 naked.
So I think that's the point at which the crowd is like, yeah. And the cops are pulling guns on you. And you and Novocaine have to book, like get into the crowd. What condition do you want to mark as a result from that?
Let me go look at what my options are.
Yeah.
I do apologize. I'm new to
That's
masks.
okay. No. Yeah. See which one you think fits for your reaction.
Insecure, I would say.
Yeah. So you mark that and kind of go into the crowd. The other good thing about this is you get to mark potential.
All right.
Which is XP. It's right down at the bottom of that column with conditions.
1.
Okay. So you and Novocaine kind of vanish out into the crowd. What are you doing, Ricochet?
So I see this building coming down.
Yeah.
So that is a problem. So I'm going to run up to the building and try to hold it up. So it's redirect all of the kinetic energy that's coming down on top of me back and try to bounce it so it doesn't fall.
Wow, that is pretty over the top.
It is pretty over the top.
Let's have you unleash your powers.
Been doing that a lot. Let's hope the dice roll better this time. Oh, that's promising. Yeah, that's an 11.
That is an 11. So you will slow it. So the building comes down, but it comes down in a controlled way. The thing is, though, everybody's on the other side. They don't see this. But boy, you are able to stop this from falling, crashing out, and hurting anybody over here. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, I mean, it would have been cool if people saw it, but
yeah, I think you can vanish.
I'm going to tell people about this afterwards.
Oh, absolutely. So I think you can do that and vanish out into the crowd, no problem. Janelle, Hoodoo, you see Novocaine and Paladin kind of vanishing off. You don't know where Ricochet is, but you kind of feel the shift of the gravity waves over there. What do you want to do?
All right. Are the cops on me? Do they see me or?
Not yet. They saw Novocaine and Paladin come floating down and made a beeline for where they were going to land.
Okay. And they just disappeared or they ran away.
They're in the crowd. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna feel like it's time to get out of here. So,
Okay.
So what? The building's standing. Everyone's out of the building, as far as we know.
Everyone is safe. Hoplite
Gotcha.
is occupied, getting the last people safe. This building is going to come down, but nobody's going to get hurt.
Yeah, she's gonna take off trying to find Novocaine and Paladin.
Okay. And I think the three of you can meet up. Ricochet will meet up with you, and we see you kind of vanishing into the night, trying to figure out where you go to from here. Let's take another 5-minute break, and when we come back, we'll figure out where that place is that you're going to go from here.
I'm having fun.
Good.
Hard agree.
So we are going to take up, and the four of you right now sort of following this. I don't know if any of you have ever been near a house fire, but the smell of that stays with you. Like that smoky smell, it gets in your clothes, it stays in there. You will know, Ricochet, that you're gonna need new clothes because these are just gonna disintegrate because you were in there in that smoke. But I think we see you in like the back booth of a Denny's. Like you've gotten away, maybe caught a couple of subway stations and gone there, and this is maybe 30, 40 minutes afterwards, and you can sit around and figure out what you want to do, where you want to go, who do you talk to. The news is filled with reportage that is contradictory. They seem to have focused in on Hoplite as the hero of the hour. You're definitely mentioned, and certainly on the local Fox affiliates, they're like, well, there was already a building taken down, and if we see these miscreants and there's a building on fire, I think we know who started the fire. And so there's that mixed messaging that's going on right now in local media. Let me ask this question because it is kind of important when you go into battle. Who do you think is the leader? Novocaine, who do you think there's a leader? Do you think you're the leader? Who do you think is the leader?
So I think I don't feel like I'm following anybody.
Okay.
But I also am very uncomfortable with the idea of being in charge.
Okay.
If like out of game, I am implicitly the leader, even if in game I reject that, that's fine. But if anyone else has an idea,
okay,
that's fine.
Paladin, who do you imagine is the leader?
I sort of feel like I might be the coordinator, but I think of Hoodoo as our leader.
Okay. Ricochet?
I feel like I would view myself as the leader.
I see where this is going.
and Hoodoo?
Yeah, I would say Hoodoo is kind of on the line of Paladin, right? She might think of herself as the leader just because she feels so responsible. So she's interjecting everywhere. But you know, yeah, I would say she thinks herself as the leader because no one else seems to be stepping up. And so she's kind of feels like it's onto her.
So the mechanically, this way this works is when you go into a battle, you start with one team in the team pool. We check if all of you have the same purpose. If you do, you get another team in the team pool. If the leader has influence over all the other team members, that leader gets to give the team another team pool. And you take away a team pool if you're kind of off balance. It happens suddenly. So there wasn't any leader in the last one. I gave you one because you had a shared purpose, but I took one away because you were completely off balance. This came up suddenly. So when we come into this scene, what are you saying, Hoodoo?
Yeah, so she's looking at everyone. You know, maybe she says something like, oh, anyway, she looks at Ricochet and is almost going to say like, what the hell were you doing? But then realizes she probably shouldn't. But she's like, so what do we do? Like, can we clear our name? Like, do we convince people that we're good, or did something happen at the museum that we missed? Did something happen that we missed and is ongoing?
We convinced people that we're amazing. Did you see what we did back there? You know, that was incredible. Did any of you see how I held up that building? I've never done anything like that before.
We were amazing. We did a great job, everybody. I mean, the way you jumped straight to the top, and the way you managed to save the people on the top, and the way you managed to stop it from landing on anyone, and the way you managed to rescue her from midair, we're clicking well together. I just wish they would see that we're trying to help. I hope somebody interviews the firemen, if nothing else. But we should really be proud. I mean, being a hero isn't about applause and parades. It's about helping people, and we helped people. The rest will come. I hope.
On the other hand, it's going to be a lot harder to help people if that one jerk keeps showing up whenever we try and do something nice.
I mean, maybe people will think we work for him. I mean, sooner or later, if we all keep showing up at the same disasters and we all keep trying to, get people out of harm's way, one way or another.
Unless he keeps slandering us.
Does he have like a Twitter account or something?
He probably does, and he's certainly giving public interviews about what happened in the fire, and that he's deeply suspicious of those miscreants being on the scene. And if it weren't for having to rescue people, he certainly would have brought them in to justice as he has promised.
Now, if we keep saving people and no one's paying attention, are we just like hitting ourselves? Are we just banging our head against the same wall?
What choice do we have?
Is there... did someone frame us?
I don't know.
I mean, did Lamplighter frame us maybe? Why is he so big on taking us out? He saw us doing stuff there. He's just kind of jumping to conclusions right away.
You think maybe he was you think maybe he was behind the captain?
I don't know. I'm just, if you do good things and everyone says you're a jerk, either you're a jerk or something else is going on that you don't realize.
Maybe we
I
need to
mean,
go
we
back
didn't
to,
do
As
it.
we all
We
look
were,
uncomfortably at Ricochet.
we were only doing good
Excuse me.
things. None of us were stealing anything, right, Novocaine?
well, I mean, it was gonna burn anyway.
Wait, what?
What? Wait, what?
Look, I was gonna give it back, but then the police started pulling guns on us and stuff, and we had to run. I don't know who it belongs to, and I like pull out a wad of cash and then realize that we're in a public place, and I'm like, maybe not. And I stick it back in my pocket.
We do
Maybe-
need money.
But this isn't our money. I mean, should we mail it to the fire department and say, or whoever lived in apartment 14, 5th floor, CO Halicon Fire Department?
I mean, they probably had insurance, right?
I don't think you can insure cash.
So I think as you guys kind of, as that pause, awkward, I think you'll kind of look up, you see, there are other people in this late night restaurant. It is 11:30, 12 at night. And you definitely see there's maybe a conversation going on between one of the waitresses, somebody's there, kind of looking back at where you are.
Uh-oh, should we get out of here?
Well, we're definitely leaving a tip. Have we mostly finished our meal?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's maybe drop some cash and leave, a 20-25% tip and skedaddle. Or actually, what are the looks like? Are they like, whoa, it's them? Or, ooh, we should call the police.
Oh, I think
that might be like
it
assess
is,
the situation roll.
I think that you don't need to roll. I think it is pretty clear that they are waiting for their opportunity to call the authorities.
Uh-oh.
Let's skedaddle then.
Yeah, should we leave out the back way?
Doesn't that usually have a fire alarm?
I mean, it's not like we're being particularly subtle here anyway.
Yeah, they know we're here. We can just leave.
Yeah, we'll drop down a stack. We'll drop down however many we think it is, and then another 20, and then out.
Now here's the big question. Yeah, absolutely. You can head out before they call the authorities, and you can get the four of yourselves on the move. But you need some place to stay. You need some place to fall back to reorganize, maybe figure out what happened. Where do you go? Who do you go to?
I think the obvious answer is the halfway house.
Let's do it.
Maybe not through the front entrance, but
If they let you bring guests, sure.
I mean, technically it's against the rules, but everybody does it.
Well, I think Priya is kind of our kind of den mother or, mentor or something.
Absolutely. I think that it's after midnight by the time you get back to the facility. It's got a mental health care center attached to it. It's got a yard, probably got fencing on that. You can easily hop over that. Tell me, Novocaine, how do you get in when you have to sneak in like after midnight?
Yeah, I think my powers are a little bit noisy, so I don't use my powers to get in and out of my room. I just there's a fire escape that I've unlocked from the inside, so that you can just toss a little rope with a rock on it and yank on the ladder, and it comes down. And I use that to climb up to my room.
I think Novocaine and I have done this before.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think you can get it. Ricochet, you'll probably have to take Hoodoo to the girls' wing. And Paladin will probably have to stay here with Novocaine. So how do you sneak Hoodoo through the building? How do you manage this, Ricochet?
I think we're going to be quiet, but if we run into anyone, I'm planning on just saying, like, you know, Janelle is new here. Actually, should I use a different name? I use a different name here. I've been going by Megan.
Yeah, so there are people that walk the halls. You come through. You have to move from the boys' room, and probably as you're getting Janelle kind of close to your area, you'll hear Megan again.
Oh, sorry. Who is this?
It looks like it's just one of the evening sort of caretakers here, people who kind of are resident staff. Who are older and tired and more jaded.
Oh, yeah, sorry, just lost track of time.
I'm gonna have to write you up for this, you know.
I mean, I was just hanging out with friends. Look, I'm here now. I'm going to bed. I'm not making trouble. Can you just let this slide?
Turns to Janelle. Who are you?
Oh, I'm. I
will jump in and be like, oh, she's. Hold on. Let me generate a fun name. She's Tina. She needed a place to stay, just like me, at least for the night.
So she's not signed in?
I mean, that's gonna be a lot of paperwork for you, isn't it? You know, is it really worth?
Either she's out of here by 8 a.m. or if she's going to stay on, she's got to go to the intake, okay?
Okay. See how she's feeling in the morning.
Okay. You guys get back to your rooms now.
I nod and quickly.
Yes, ma'am.
Novocaine, what will Adrian, Paladin, see in your room?
I think there's not a lot. There's like the default furniture that people here come with, but I always just sort of assume that one of these days I'm going to leave and it's going to be the last time, so I don't really want to leave a bunch of stuff here. So there's like a change of clothes, and there's like a crappy old TV and some like 5 or 10 years old video games that plug into it, and that's pretty much about it.
It's like the most sort of Spartan dorm room. It's barely lived in. What's your reaction to that, Adrian?
Is that an N64?
Yeah, I mean, it's just whatever was in the Lost and Found.
I call Trevelyan if we play GoldenEye.
Wait, you actually?
And Toad if we play Mario Kart 64.
Sure, you gotta blow on the cartridge a little bit or something.
You doing
Adrian?
okay, man?
Yeah, go on.
You know, I'm pretty sure Hoplite saw me picking this up.
Well, if it's any consolation, he didn't say anything about that. He just said, those miscreants. He didn't call us thieves.
Was I not supposed to do it? It was just going to burn.
I mean, you know, it's a good question. It's for people that are smarter than I am. But I mean, I'd have probably grabbed it. And if I had time, I'd have been like, you know, who lives in that building? Or I'd have turned it into a cop, made sure there were 20 witnesses that saw me turning into a cop so the cop couldn't pocket it and just say, hey, make sure it gets back to them.
So what I'm trying to do here is reveal a vulnerability or weakness with someone.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I am supposed to ask you who they'd like me to be. And I think that's like, yeah, this is gonna, I mean, it might look bad for all of us, right? Like, do I need to, what do I do?
I mean, we're in a tough spot now. I mean, we could try to find out who the real owners are, even though we've already spent some of it. But I wonder if we just have to own that we didn't get to do the right thing. I mean, you know, rather than just keep on, maybe instead of just keep telling ourselves, oh, we'll do the right thing, oh, we'll do the right thing, oh, we'll do the right thing. Maybe we have to own the fact that we didn't, and that we have to make sure we do the right thing next time. I mean, granted, we can't blow this on stuff. We can't buy candy with it. We can't, you know, buy video games or whatever, but we might just have to acknowledge that we didn't get the chance to do what we should have, and just hope we can get the chance to do it later. Just kind of own that thing.
Yeah, use it. We're helping people, and we're going to use this to help us help people. And
Yeah,
then next time we'll do even better.
Yeah, as long as we don't buy fun things with it, you know, we can't buy video games. We can't buy treats. I mean, I'm halfway tempted to say just find a church and stick it in the poor box, at least get rid of it. But I want to be able to get it back to whoever it is. I don't
Still buy
know.
dessert with it once or twice, though, right?
No.
So I think you're acknowledging what Paladin is asking of you, so you can mark potential there, Novocaine, and we add one to the team pool for that.
You also gain influence over me.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I may also be one influence shy, because I have influence over. Am I muted?
Nope.
Nope.
No, I'm not muted. I've listed influence over 2. I think I'm supposed to list influence over 3, but I'm honestly not certain.
No, it was based on the question, so it's not necessarily
Okay.
that you would have 3. But
I
however,
keep pretty reserved
yeah.
to you.
Now, because you already have influence over Novocaine,
Yep.
and you would gain more influence.
Yep.
Now what you get to do is you get to shift their labels. You can shift one label up and one label down. It's basically you telling them who you think they are. Are they more dangerous? Are they more human? Are they more freakish? Are they less freakish? So what would you like to shift up, and what would you like to shift down?
I assume this is required, and I assume I'm not allowed to ask what they would want.
You can ask, yes.
Okay. My inclination, and I will certainly ask, is my thought would be, since I'm trying to push you towards doing the right thing, because I think you're a good person, my inclination would be to subtract 1 from freak and then add 1 to either savior or mundane. But I want to get your consent with that first.
Adding 1 to savior sounds totally appropriate. Yeah, we can subtract 1 from freak. That works for me.
Yeah, because I don't think of you as 1. I think of you as just a good person who got hurt by circumstances.
Yeah.
Then on the flip side, Novocaine, are you trying to maybe comfort and support Paladin in this? Do you think this rises to the level of a move? Do you want to do that? That's certainly one way to help clear their conditions.
I also reassigned my +1 because I misunderstood what freak was for.
Sure.
I'm sort of fighting against that, so I'm keeping my freak at the default -1, and going forward I'm putting my +1 into superior, bringing it up to 1.
Yeah, I think the place that I would think that that Paladin needs comfort and support is in that scene that went kind of badly out in front of the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the way I would comfort and support you is being like, you know, in front of the fire out there when the cops pulled on us, I was looking at people's faces. They knew you did the right thing, even though the cops didn't recognize it.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Yeah.
Let's have you roll mundane.
7. Where's that move? Oh, there
Oh,
it is.
it's just below unleash your powers.
On a hit, they hear you, they mark potential clear condition or shift labels if they open up to you. Is that all, like, they do one of those things if they open up to you? Okay.
I'll open up. Look, I can't keep lying. I have to be honest. I always know what, I'm always talking about, hey, it's the right thing to do. And hey, it doesn't matter who sees us, but I can't keep lying to myself or to you. I really do just once want people to be like, hey, thanks. Hey, yeah, that was the right thing. Because it's just so hard to keep doing it. And people keep thinking I'm the bad guy. It's just so, it is frustrating. And I can't keep pretending it's not.
Nice.
I will mark off the insecure.
Well, let's have him roll mundane first.
I will keep insecure there and not cheat.
This could.
Oh, I did. I got a 7.
Okay. All right. So yeah, so you can clear that.
Thank you.
Let's cut to Ricochet and Janelle. And what is your room like, Ricochet?
I think it's. I don't think I've been here all that long, so it's pretty much just the default furniture, which is kind of scattered about from me messing around with my powers. So it's pretty messy.
Mm-hmm.
Although, even though there's not that much in here.
Janelle, you actually come from a stable home, and while you've talked with Priya, I don't think you've seen where Ricochet lives. What's your reaction to this?
Yeah, I'm just kind of yeah, I kind of give more of a what do you call it? More I feel for her more. I realize, oh man, maybe I should cut her some more slack. She's got it more difficult than I am.
I think I'm going to ask so actually I think I probably would maybe notice that and say yeah, it's tough being on the run. I guess you understand that now, but I kind of wish you didn't. It gets easier in some ways, but
yeah, I guess I've always I thought if you were on the run, that meant you did something bad, and you did something wrong, and you deserved it. And I don't know if we deserve this.
Well, I used to think that, but I'm pretty sure I didn't do anything wrong. I feel like sometimes people try to come down on you and control you for their own reasons.
I think Hoplight's onto something. Why would he show up there when we were there? And like, if he wanted to capture us, he maybe he could have, right? He confronted Novocaine straight up.
You think he's getting something out of this? Like it's a publicity thing for him, or we're useful as, you think we're scapegoats?
I think he's not. I think there's something he's hiding. Yeah, I think he's involved in this somehow. He's not just, yeah. He put us in this position somehow. Perhaps, I don't know. It just seems weird that he'd be showing up where we are and so vocal against us.
Yeah. Everything about this just feels wrong.
Ricochet, do you? Let me stop. Let me engage with the mechanics here just briefly.
Go for it.
Ricochet, do you feel like you're sharing vulnerability with Janelle, or are you trying to comfort and support? How do you?
I think kind of both. I think I'm trying to open up a bit about the fact that, running away was, tough for me, and I'm still not entirely comfortable with that, but also trying to comfort Hoodoo that, it doesn't mean you're bad to be in this situation.
Well, let's resolve the vulnerability thing, and then we'll do the comfort and support. So when you share a vulnerability, you give them influence, and you're going to hold 2 that you can spend later as team. Now, she already has influence over you, so who do you get to shift labels on Ricochet?
Yeah,
Shift
okay.
1 up and 1 down.
I guess you like. I'm thinking gonna superior to 0, savior to 0.
Okay, cool. That makes sense.
And then why don't you roll for comfort and support?
Okay, so that's mundane, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, I'm not great at that. Oh, but I still got a 10.
Nice.
Whoa.
So first of all, when she's trying to comfort you, do you respond? Do you open up to her, Ricochet?
Yes.
Or Hoodoo? Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
What does it look like?
Well, what I say is I'll say like, thank you for saving that building. I know what you did. It would have been really bad.
And I know you slowed me down when I was falling, so yeah, thanks for that. I may have overdone it.
So Hoodoo, you can mark potential, clear a condition, or shift labels.
Yeah, I'll clear a condition.
And then because the 10 plus, then Ricochet, you can add a team to the pool, or you can clear a condition yourself.
I think I'm also going to clear a condition.
Which you have 2 conditions, Mark. Which one do you want to clear?
Yeah. Let's clear insecure.
Okay.
Because that I believe the insecure was caused specifically by that incident which Hoodoo just comforted me about.
So you 4 will be able to rest through the night, get up in the morning. This is a place that has institutional clothing, so you can swap that out. They're probably donated clothes and things, so you're not wearing smoke covered clothing. And in the morning, you go to see Priya. And the director says, well, we've been trying to call her. But she was supposed to come in last night for a shift, and she didn't show up, and we've been trying to get a hold of her all morning. So we can have you see one of the other counselors if you want.
I think as Ricochet hears this, like, her fists kind of tighten. She goes, I don't think that's necessary. You didn't hear anything from her?
No, she's not answering her phone. Though I know she has a pretty big family, so there might have been an emergency there. But usually she's pretty good about calling in. I've emailed her as well. I'm sure we'll hear from her later today.
I sort of glance to everyone else and motion them to, let's get out of here, and when we're not in earshot of this person.
Okay.
And lie and say we'll just wait and talk to her tomorrow.
Step out in the hall. We get a shot of the 4 of you together. Their kids going back and forth, heading to the different places in this building, but you're kind of off by yourselves and can speak.
No way she's okay. We're saving her, right?
We have to figure out where she is, but yeah, of course. She sounds like a really good person.
I swear, whoever did this, they are going to regret it.
Of course.
No holding back.
Well, first we have to make sure. First, we have to save her. We worry about taking down the person who did this later, but we have to save your friend. She sounds like such a wonderful person.
She looks out for us here when no one else will.
We're gonna help her. Every one of us. We're gonna help her.
So
Pretty
what's
sure
the next?
in the main office, they have a personnel file. Just don't even think the cabinet's locked.
I think that you can do that. I think you have the powers. I think this is a Monday. What does it look like? How do we see your powers get used to get the object, to get the address?
Does anyone have quiet powers?
Or like you have those little portals. Could we see just like your hand come out, pick up the file, and then go back into the portal kind of thing?
Yeah. I think one of you all like draws the person at the desk a little bit away so that they don't hear the like breaking glass sound that the powers make.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just me like sitting in my room looking through directly at the.
I have an idea for a distraction. I think I'm gonna go out to the lobby and I'm gonna like take out a cigarette and light it.
And they are on you immediately.
Clever.
20 feet from the main doors. 20 feet from the main doors.
Hoodoo is just like, oh my god! Like, wait, did anything we talk about last night make sense?
Well, no. I'll probably stage whisper, forgetting that I probably shouldn't whisper that loud. It's a distraction.
Well,
And then a second too late, look over my shoulder to make sure nobody hears me loudly whisper, it's a distraction.
And then I say, I know it's a distraction, but why did she have to pick that one?
Oh, I guess I could have just knocked something. Well, let's use it.
So Novocaine, yeah, you will get her if all you want is her address, you can get her address. And I think we'll cut from that moment to this apartment building in another part of town, and maybe the shot is from inside, so maybe we hear the knock. No one answers, and Novocaine, you can teleport in and let everyone in. This is your specialty.
It is my specialty. I think actually maybe Ricochet is knocking and then I answer the door.
Oh, nice.
I like that.
I'm knocking extremely carefully.
You will open the door and come in, and it's a little cool in here. And you kind of walk and look around. It looks like she, finished a meal last night. And you can see that she has a balcony door out there. She's like, say, like on a third, fourth floor. And that balcony door is open, but you don't see her anywhere around here.
This isn't right. This isn't right at all.
We assess the situation.
Yeah, I think someone can roll assess here.
Presumably whoever would be best. Assess is superior or mundane?
Superior.
Be good at superior.
Yeah, Novocaine's full of himself, so we'll let him do it.
I got a +1, that's it.
I'll roll to assess the situation.
Let's have you roll.
I got an 11.
That is an 11. So you get to ask 2 questions, and you can kind of modify these to fit with the situation here.
Let's see. So I think, like, what here is the biggest threat in that, like...
Well, I'll tell you what the biggest threat is. The biggest threat is when you're looking around and you kind of glance out the window and down a little ways. It's very hard to see, but just for a moment, you see something move and you realize that there is a camera drone watching the apartment.
What here can I use to figure out where she is now?
I think that there's some like marks on the balcony that or maybe a little bit of kind of like some indentations, maybe even scorch. And I think you draw Ricochet over to kind of look at this.
And I'm like pulling you down under the windowsill so that the camera can't see you.
What is it again?
You see some marks on the balcony, on the thing, and you will recognize them, Ricochet.
What are they?
Well, that looks like the marks of your father's jump jets in his suit.
I'll say, oh, crap! This looks like my dad's been here.
Let's take 5, and then we'll
Dun,
figure
dun.
out where we go from there.
Nice.
One thing is, I guess the question from Criminal Mind that I want to ask is what here is useful or valuable to me.
I think that she has notes on you and Ricochet and even Janelle.
Janelle. All right. Cool.
You can grab those.
Yeah.
Okay. Take 5.
This
Move
is
back.
so much fun.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying how this is
Yeah.
going. This is great.
Awesome.
Cool.
Like I've played a few one-shots before, and I think this is my favorite mess one-shot so far.
Like I said, my first real experience with Powered by the Apocalypse and Magpie Games was Bluebeard's Bride, and it's a lot of fun. But I'm just like, wow, we can live and do things. This is fun too.
100%. Yeah.
It sounds like such a cool game, but I don't know if I can ever bring myself to actually play it.
Fair. It's definitely not a game you win at the end. I'll be back in a few. Thanks, guys.
My cat has been wandering around on top of my desk, like between me and my keyboard, which was cute at first when he sat on my lap and purred, and now it's got increasingly annoying as it gets towards his 5:30 snack time.
I'm almost starting to sneeze already. I'm like, wait, no, the cat isn't in here with me. I can't be allergic to a cat where'd you say you live, Cambridge?
Yeah.
I'm not allergic to cats that are 60 miles away.
He even got up on top of my computer, which is like, it's a desktop computer, so it's got like vents in the top and everything. I was like, maybe I should do something about this. I don't need pet dander dropping directly into the fan.
It seems like one of the smartest things they made from a design decision standpoint for masks was that they never said, and this stat uses your powers, because everyone would just be like, well, dump everything into that stat. It's like what you're trying to accomplish is what determines the stat, which may or may not use your powers. That was such a smart design decision, because like, I'm a gamer. It's like, oh, okay, so that's the stat for my superpowers. Max that out. That was just so smart of them to say, like, you can justify multiple different stats, labels. You could justify multiple different labels for using your powers. They're the powers of the vehicle. That was such a smart decision, in my opinion.
There are a couple of PBTA games like The Veil, Hearts of Wulin, and a few others that kind of open up the choices for how you use your stats to do what moves, and I always like that. Brian, are you back? We'll give Brian a moment.
The other decision that I thought was really interesting is that conditions apply to moves rather than applying to stats, which is, it makes it much easier to like throw around conditions very aggressively, because it doesn't.
Without being like, oh man, I'm useless.
Yeah.
And it's easy to forget that until you have to take a powerful blow, that the conditions kind of still up, but then when you have to roll with the conditions marked, yeah. I always forget that besides the comfort and support.
I'm back. Sorry.
Okay.
Was having computer issues.
That one of the ways to clear conditions are particular things, like to clear guilty, you have to make a sacrifice. Like that doesn't often get used, but when it does, it feels really meaningful when a player spends the time to do that.
I didn't even know. I totally missed that in the rules.
Oh yeah. It's each one has a, like, if you're angry, you have to break or something important or hurt someone, and then you can clear your anger.
Interesting.
So, Ricochet, you've just realized that your father's been here. What's your reaction?
I cannot believe he would sink this slow. Priya's been so good. How could he do this?
This is, I mean, he's just a jerk, right? Like, you don't need to, he's just trying to control you. That's all that's happening here.
Does he know of your connection with Priya? Like, does he know she's your social worker?
I didn't think he knew. I mean, I used a fake name and everything.
Maybe he's trying to get her advice for something. I mean, your father's not a supervillain. That's insane.
He's not as great as he says he is. Real quick, out of character. Did Novocaine mention the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did, because I was pulling you out of the way a bit.
If I peek at the camera, does that look like it's also Justice Tech?
I think that yeah, I think you can definitely see it's clearly a remote monitoring here.
Well, he's watching this place, so I guess he figured it out.
You probably, assuming that everyone knows and has now hit the deck, you see Paladin on the floor writing on something on a piece of paper, which he seems to be about to hold up. I just hope it doesn't reverse it in Zoom. He's crawling over to the window with the piece of paper. Anybody can see what's on it. And I'm going to say that I'm not even going to have everyone roll. If anybody tries to stop him, they can before he holds this up. There won't be a struggle or a roll. But he'll be about to hold up this. Is this reversed or can you see it?
We will trade for Priya. Yeah, we can read it. Yeah. Janelle, what's your reaction to that? You've kind of been overhearing this and you see Paladin moving over with this note.
Yeah, she's just like, wait, so Ricochet, why? So wait, we think Justice has Priya?
I mean, he could have kidnapped her in order to get me back, which I guess is going to work because we've got to do it.
Okay, I'm just going to say a crazy thought before we do this. We're all assuming that she's been kidnapped, but have we tried just calling her cell? Because if she picks up, there's just the chance that maybe she's okay and she's working on.
She wasn't picking up when the home called.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, if your dad did take Priya, that's a crime. And she's like, she helps us. So we gotta go after her.
Is anybody stopping me if I'm crawling beneath the sightline of the drone, but I'm about to hold up the paper? Does anybody grab my arm and stop me? There won't be a roll involved because I'll let you stop me.
Okay, you can put it up, but then Hoodoo goes, we don't negotiate with terrorists. What?
We're not negotiating. We're giving up.
The phone rings in the apartment.
I'll pick it up. Yeah.
Priya's residence.
Oh, I want to try to beat you to it.
You win. I'm not going to try to LB out of the way because
I pick it up.
Jenna, you've clearly gotten yourself in over your head. You need to come home now.
What did you do with Priya?
I knew that you weren't going to listen to me unless I had some leverage. So you need to come home now. And then your friend...
Is this on speaker?
No.
Your friend can go back to her life.
Hi,
Fine.
Professor.
You want me to come for you? Well, you've got your wish. I'm coming for you, and I'm gonna slam the phone into the receiver, and it's gonna explode.
Before you start to slam the phone down. Nope. Okay. We could have star 69'd that.
I think she knows where he is, though. So I think that will explode. Like the little side table that it's on will go up in pieces. There'll be that crackle, and it probably shakes the room a little bit.
And Hoodoo goes to Novocaine. Save some of that money for a new phone for Priya.
Okay, Ricochet, calm down. Focus. We're here with you.
Not for long. We're going to the Justice hideout. Oh, it's gonna have a cooler name. I don't know.
Or the Injustice hideout.
The halls. No, it's the Hall of Justice.
Okay.
We're going to the Hall of Justice.
So where is your father's secret HQ that no one is supposed to know about? And the place that you're going to take your three friends to?
I think in classic comic book fashion, it's like right beneath, actually, I think I think he's probably an open superhero. He doesn't have a secret identity. So I think it'll be. I think let's make there's like a mountain, or like maybe this isn't near like the Cascades or something.
Yeah, like there's like a mountain right on the edge of the city.
Yeah, and it's in there.
Okay. So it's a ways out there.
Actually, no, I don't like that. We'll make it. Let's make it underneath the city hall. That sounds more fun.
Okay. So old, like old historical, might have in the past been a supervillain lair from the 30s and 40s. Your father repurposed it. He's got little tunnels that run to it, and it's where he kept you for a very long time.
Yeah.
So what is the rest of your reaction, Novocaine? What's your reaction to this?
I think there's like a brief moment of silence when the phone explodes, and then I'm like, Ricochet, that was awesome. You tell that asshole you're not going to take any of his shit.
Thanks. I won't.
You can't call his father that word. Wait.
Can you call him that again?
Never mind. Sorry. I miss my dad.
Janelle, what's your take on this?
Yeah, she's just like, she's like, was justice behind this? I mean, yes, that asshole.
Fine, that jerkhead.
Yeah, let's do this.
What this are we doing? We're not just showing up at the front door and knocking, are we? Because he could just drop a net on us like in that movie.
Yeah, Ricochet. I mean, he, who knows what's gotten into him, but this is not right. This might be connected with all the problems we're having.
Maybe. He's listening to this place. We gotta walk and talk.
So tell me, what is the way that you want to go in? Do you want to go in, just the front door, or do you want to try and sneak in, or do you have a clever plan?
Ricochet's not in a planning mood. If no one else suggests anything, she'll probably just punch her way.
Let's front door it. Let's front door it like.
What if he just drops a net on us?
And we break the net.
I can't find any problems with this plan whatsoever.
Well,
Guys,
I think he doesn't. He wants us to be there, right? So it's not like a typical supervillain.
You're right. We're gonna act. This is your dad. Your dad doesn't think we can handle this, Ricochet. So we're gonna act mature, and we're gonna convince him, because he'll be expecting us to go in there, pounding our fists, stamping our feet, and swearing at him. He won't be expecting us to be calm. You're a genius.
Novocaine?
Does he know what we can do?
I'm sure.
I mean, he's gonna be ready for us.
Well, if you have an idea, let's do it.
I mean, Priya's just an ordinary citizen. He's not going to hurt her or anything, right? He's not going to have her in prison. She's going to be in a locked room or something.
I mean,
he has those.
What is prison?
And I know how to get into locked rooms. I think certainly you go in, you confront him, and me and I don't know who would be good at breaking and entering with me.
Probably not me.
Janelle,
Yeah.
you up for this?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
We'll get Priya out, and then once she's safe, and he doesn't have any leverage anymore.
Then we'll
get
kick
you
his
out.
ass.
Or maybe we'll take him out.
So you two
But
are
you're
going to
right.
sneak in. Ricochet, you're going to break in, and I'll knock on the front door.
No, you two save Priya. We we need to keep her safe. I've got to confront my dad. This isn't going to stop until I do.
I'll have your back.
So,
and
yeah.
I'm gonna look over to Ishan and say, Ishan, thanks. We're all counting on. I'm counting on you, and linger a little with my gaze, and then storm off.
You're like, yeah, no problem. Don't worry about it. She'll be fine.
We could always offer him $413 to let her go. I will ask one meta logistical question from a timing standpoint.
Sure.
Got about 40 minutes left. GM, do you need to X the idea of the party splitting up, or have you got this?
Oh no, this is perfect.
Okay.
Because we cut now to Ricochet and Paladin. You've had to go through. This has been amazing because they're little rocket cars that go down into this thing. Ricochet is taking you down there. You've been riding. Ricochet, you're just angry being back in this place. It's everything about this thing annoys you.
I think there's like a little robot that greets.
Hello, Ricochet.
Yeah, and I just like punch it, smash it to pieces.
Welcome home. And you think we'll come to that stop, and the doors will open, and you'll walk through into this big layer. That's no other word for it. It's kind of rounded area. There are rooms going off. There's technical things. You'll see a couple of the Dr. Justice suits there in different places, and you see that he's looking over something on the computer, and he says, "Jenna, so good to see you. Oh, you brought one of your little friends."
Good evening, Professor.
How could you? I guess I should have expected this. After what you've done, the way you treated me.
So, you do the talking. I'm just sitting there quietly, but while he's focused on you, can I surreptitiously use my telekinesis power to just press the record button on the cameras that are probably in the room just as he starts to give his supervillain speech?
I think it is absolutely appropriate for you to unleash your powers. Because you want to do this quietly without this major superhero spotting you, who's a super genius with an armored suit.
In his own house.
Yeah.
I'm not actually doing anything myself. I figured.
I know. Roll with freak.
Oh, good. The thing I have a -1 in. I've got this. Roll with me. 2d6 modifier. I think it's a -1. I'm going to check. One moment, please. Yep, my freak is a -1, so I'm doing it.
Okay.
2d6 -1. I actually got a 9.
So what condition are you going to mark? Because this like you realize that this is super dangerous.
Afraid.
Okay, mark that.
I don't even know what afraid does, but I'm really afraid. Yeah.
But
my hope is that it records just as he's like, "Yes, I did it. It's my first step in my evil plan."
So Jenna, let me get a little bit of your soliloquy, and then I want to cut to Novocaine and Janelle. So what are you saying to your father?
I'm not here to stay. I'm here to get you to leave me alone once and for all. However I need to do it. And I'm not taking no for an answer.
You are a danger to yourself, and you're a danger to everything that I have worked for, to all the legacy that I'm going to leave to you someday. This running around with delinquents and not thinking about the consequences. This is exactly why I had you stay here.
I've been saving people. We've been saving people.
And destroying things and ruining reputation.
That wasn't us.
I have a full set of videos of the various buildings that you and your compatriots have knocked down over these last few months.
We knocked down one building. It was set for demolition anyways. But the museum, we didn't do that. We were framed. You think I would do that? How could you have so little faith in me?
He says, this is not a conversation we're having. You're staying here.
You think you can hold me? You think you can chain me up?
He says, oh, I don't think. I know. And then let's cut to Novocaine.
Bam.
Novocaine, you've been given instructions on like where the layer is, getting some visualizations of it, but now you're going to have to stretch your powers to do this. So I want you to unleash your powers. By the way, we're starting right now with 4 team in the team pool, given other things from before. Okay.
So I think the reason why this is so difficult is normally I make windows to places that I've seen in real life, and now I'm going to a place that I've only seen in a picture. Let's see what happens. Oh, and I'm down to 0 freak. Thanks for that, Paladin. It's a 7.
It's a 7. So what is the condition you mark as you push through the agony of reaching such a distance to a place you haven't seen?
I think I'm gonna mark afraid. Actually, no. I'm gonna mark insecure.
Okay.
And I'm marking insecure because I feel like if I can't do this, if this is this much trouble, how can we possibly hope to confront like a full-fledged superhero?
And you could you and Janelle pop out in essentially the holding cells that are back here in this facility. Janelle, you see Novocaine kind of stagger as you come through that teleport.
Hey, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. It'd be nice if we could find a different way out.
Yeah, we got this.
Is she here?
Janelle, you look and you will see Priya is in a cell. And you see there's another person in one of these cells.
Priya, are you okay?
Yeah. What's Janelle? Are you okay? You shouldn't be here.
No,
This man is very dangerous.
We're here to get you out. It's Ricochet's dad. He must have gone crazy or something. This is not.
She's his daughter?
Yeah.
Ishan, did you know?
I mean,
I think I probably would have told you.
Yeah, they haven't spoken in a while. She doesn't like him very much.
Well, I just don't know. Can you deactivate this field?
Yeah, we'll get you. Do you know who else is here with you?
Here, hey! You should let me out of here too.
What? Oh, it's you.
See Captain Swan, he's missing his arm. He's missing his little electronic eye. He's in there. You should let me out of here now.
What? Why should I do that?
Because I'm the one that can tell the public that you didn't do any of this.
Oh, man.
Got you on the gangplank.
Oh, Novocaine. Let's just get Priya and get out of here.
Oh no! Wait! Please, I'm begging you.
Will
Kudu.
you turn yourself into the police?
Sure.
I look at Novocaine. Man, what do we do?
This is. Look, I don't like this guy, but nobody deserves to be in this windowless prison without any hope of ever getting out.
Oh, this young man gets it.
Oh God. Okay. And so, what's the holding cells? What are there? I mean,
It looks like there's some kind of control code, but do you want to try and just bust it open?
Yeah. What I'm going to try to do is just use my powers to make everything super heavy, so it just,
Roll
falls
unleash
in
your
on itself.
powers.
Unleash. That's a freak.
That is freak.
Yeah. A 9.
So I think you. Yeah?
Oh, you want to go for a 10?
Oh,
Novocaine?
Yeah. How would I help with this? I think I help just by I'm just like pushing buttons, trying to figure out what the right things to crush are.
So yeah, spend it to point of team and team pool, and it absolutely with no damage to any of you or to the prisoners, you'll be able to tear this open and the fields will go down. So he's just said this, and then Jenna, Ricochet, you'll see a flashing light on his thing, and your father looks up at you and he says, "We need to have this conversation privately." And he raises his hand. Paladin, could I please have you roll take a powerful blow?
Oh, I was just going to say, oh, would you excuse me then, please? I'll step outside.
You start to say that, and the wrist thing forms, and he fires that repulsor blast right
would you
into
please
you.
Let me check the mechanics on take a powerful blow, which doesn't sound dangerous at all.
How many conditions do you have marked?
I have 1, afraid.
Then roll with +1.
Awesome.
You
okay.
want low.
I want low, don't I? All right.
Yes.
2d6 +1. Roll low. 11!
So, if you look under take a powerful blow, you can choose either to remove yourself from the situation, flee, pass out, etc., lose control of yourself or your powers in a terrible way, or you can choose 2 from the 7 to 9 list.
I assume I can't react and try to shield myself.
That was the take powerful blow.
Oh, okay. Let's
It didn't
see.
work.
I don't want to just remove myself from the scene. So I'm going to rule that out. Let me look for a moment. Probably what I'll probably I'm certainly going to give ground. Like, he wants me out of the room. I get like knocked over and I go flying and I think instead of lashing out in anger, I'll still provoke her to action. Like, as I fall, I probably break my arm and I just scream and I even start to cry like I'm a kid. Actually, even in real life at 39, I'd cry if I broke my arm. And it's like,
Ricochet,
why would you do that? Why did you do that?
Shoots Paladin, sends him flying. You hear the sound of Paladin's arm breaking.
What kind of man are you?
Ricochet, let's see what you're doing, and then we're going to cut to Novocaine and Hoodoo.
No, there's no hesitation at this point. After he does that, I am racing towards him and trying to deliver a blow straight to his smug, evil face.
Okay, let's have you roll directly engage.
I don't care how much of his hideout I smashed up, so I'm gonna take advantage of in a China shop.
Okay.
So basically, yeah, things are gonna get damaged. That is an 8.
You get to pick 2 from the directly engage a threat list.
Yeah. I want to resist or avoid their blows.
Okay.
And I want to frighten the opposition.
Okay. It would like shock, surprise at.
I want, like, basically, I want him to think that he might not actually have this under control.
I think that you will smash through, and we will see the walls give way. And Novocaine, Hoodoo, you're back there. You're like, okay, now we got to, and just the thing just goes, just crashes down, smashes down. And you see Ricochet, and you see this armored guy armoring up. He's clearly thing, and he says, well, I guess I'm going to have to start again with another daughter.
Oh, snap.
And can I have you take a powerful blow, Jenna?
Oh. All right. So this is separate from resisting or avoiding their blows, I assume.
Yeah, this is his.
That's a blow.
Apathy.
So I'm adding my conditions.
Yep.
I got a 6.
So you stand strong. You can mark potential, and tell me how you react when he clearly, indicates that you're disposable.
I'll say, why you want another runaway so soon?
I'll just program her better. Paladin, what are you doing? What do we see you doing? And then we're going to check in with Hoodoo and Novocaine.
I've actually got a pretty good idea of what I'm going to do.
Sure.
I'm going to stand right up and be like, I'm gonna see if I can provoke it. Like, it's like, how could you do that? I wasn't trying to hurt you, and you broke my arm. I just wanted to talk. I just wanted to save the innocent woman that you kidnapped. And how could you say that to your daughter? What kind of father are you? What kind of man are you? What kind of citizen are you?
You've kind of followed behind through these destroyed walls, kind of follow. So yeah, let's have you roll provoke.
No, I'm very specifically using the move I took. I am taking Suck It, Domitian, because I'm standing strong while under fire. I'm rolling Savior. I'm rolling Savior instead.
Okay.
And which is a +2. And
let's see it.
And I really want him to start gloating because I know exactly what I'm going to say. 2d6 +2. Come on, dice. 9.
So there's a 9. Now you are Suck It Domitian means that you are directly engaged. So you're actually going blow to blow with him.
Not physically, emotionally. I'm just getting right in his face.
Then that's
provoke.
provoke.
My arm. What'd you say?
Then that's provoke for you.
Oh, I can't use that then.
Right.
You know what? Fine. I'm gonna get up in his face and shout and let him slug me. Let him use his powers on me. I'll go blow to blow, but I want him to take the first shot because he might not have, because there's something important about that.
So you get to pick one from the directly engage a threat, even as you force him to mark a condition.
Okay.
Well, you can also you could spend a teen to try to bump it up to 10.
Okay. Well,
where are you at right now?
I rolled a. Let me check. I don't think I.
You could also just roll superior for provoke.
I got a 9.
Okay.
Got a 9?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll spend a 10 because I specifically want to surprise him with what I'm about to say next. But I want him, as he's pummeling me, to start ranting and saying what his motivation is.
So if you're spending that on yourself, tell us how you're kind of focused in on your own things at the expense of the other characters here, because you're kind of using it. The team pool selfishly is how it's called.
That's fair.
Is it because you're concentrating on this wound?
I'm probably like throwing up shields frantically to try to help myself a little bit. Funny story about heal, by the way. I can't use it on myself.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm probably trying to duck, and I'm very obviously trying to push him past the breaking point with my words. I'm going out of my way not to fight back, and I'm probably also stealing the center of attention away from Hoodoo. This should be her moment. I'm making it the doctor's moment. But does he start ranting and saying what's going
So
on?
you need to pick 2 from directly engage a threat. What are the 2 results you want?
I want to surprise the opposition with something that I will say later.
Okay.
And I'm going to create. Oh, I'll take the blows. I don't mind. I'll take injured. If nothing else, it'll put mechanics to the broken arm.
So you're going to create an opportunity, kind of like he's thought he was engaging with Jenna, and suddenly you're up in there in his face.
I'm going to create an opportunity for Novocaine and Ricochet to get the hostages out.
Then roll take a powerful blow.
You got it. I would like to be able to say one last.
Well, let's resolve that, and then you can make your statement. Then I'm going to cut to Hoodoo and Novocaine.
One condition for now. I'm about to take another, but 2d6 plus 1.
Yep.
Total of 4. That sounds better.
That is excellent. You stand strong, and you get to mark potential.
Yay!
Novocaine, you see this.
Let me know when it's my surprise time, but not yet.
Well, yeah. Okay, let's get your statement, and then we'll cut.
Okay. Let me mark the potential so I don't forget. 2. As he's hitting me, and I assume he's ranting about what he's trying to do and what he's trying to
He's not ranting at all. He's
okay.
Cold, and now, but you can see anger on his face.
Right. And like I said, I haven't thrown a single punch at him. After I take another hit right to the broken elbow, and I scream, and I'll be like, "Oh, and by the way, I mean, don't tell me, tell CNN." And I'll be pointing at the cameras that have been recording him beating the shit out of a helpless teenager.
Nice. And he will see that, and this is going to take a lot of PR. Novocaine. What do? Priya's like, what is going on?
I think the first thing I say is, look, Priya, we're built for this stuff, but we got to get you out of here first. And there's a bunch of walls now. Can I see all the way to the rocket car that took them here?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna send Priya there.
Okay.
And say, just hit go and don't look back.
I think because he's got all kinds of electronics and defenses and things in here, I do want you to roll Unleash Your Powers to do that, to get her safely there.
Cool. Whew. Well, I get to mark potential.
Yes. What is the condition you mark when his debase absolutely grabs what you're doing teleportation wise and sends this dimensional feedback into you?
I'm afraid.
Yeah, you've never felt like this before. Your teleportation is never, and you're thrown to the ground. And Priya's like, what? No, Yashan. Hoodoo, what do you do?
What is our little crazy captain doing?
Captain, you get the sense that he's torn between murdering Paladin and continuing this argument with his daughter.
Oh, no, I meant the pirate.
The captain.
The pirate.
Oh, the captain. He is running. He is running. The second he sees superhero fight go down and he doesn't have any of his items or limbs or things, he is running.
Okay, I'm going to power up with the old burn move first. So that's just bam. 10.
3 burn. And then?
All right. And then I'm going to increase his gravity so that he even sinks into the ground.
Okay.
Right? Like he can just to stop him. So is that unleash?
So are you doing Reality Storm?
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, collateral damage. Why
Yeah.
not?
Absolutely.
This is the reason I'm doing this is to permanently. Actually, what I'll do is I want to put him down there and maybe even fall some things on top of him, like to create a cage,
Okay.
right? Like,
Let's
so
have you
a
roll with
little bit more. Plus
freak.
freak. All right, watch this. Bam. 6.
6. I
Team
think that
pool. Do we have any in the team?
2 teams on the team. Well, does somebody want to help?
You can take one from me because I'm holding 2, right?
Oh yeah, you can spend that to
So
aid. Yeah.
What's the hold?
Holding
What is
2
this
from a
hold?
special move earlier to help.
because
Ah,
I opened
gotcha.
up to you.
Ah. Wait,
So
wait. How's that work again? I hold 2?
no, she her earlier thing is
This is a bull special
yeah.
power.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Spend that hold to help them as if it were team in the team pool. So she had 2 free helps for you. So that'll go to a
Okay.
7.
Yep.
So I think you're gonna have to mark a condition because he's got powers like that. Suit powers up even as the stone is cracking underneath his feet. What do you want to mark, Hoodoo?
I was gonna get angry, like angry at myself.
Yeah.
Stupid.
And the floor is giving way. Things are like the base is cracking and shaking, and you can feel the foundations starting to give. What do you do, Ricochet?
I am going to go up to my father. I'm going to tell him, I came here to confront you, and all you've done is repeatedly attack my friend. You haven't laid a finger on me, and I think I know why. You can't hurt me. I'm more powerful than you thought I could be, and you're afraid. And as I'm saying this, I'm like, moving towards him and just like smashing stuff in the way. I say, we're going to leave here now, all of us, and you are going to stay. And I'm trying to provoke him.
Let's have you roll it.
And you've got a head you don't need, so when I provoke someone with obvious threats and shows of force, which I think I did, I can roll danger. That is a 9. But I feel like I want to take from the team pool to make it a 10. I don't even know what that does.
I think that what we see is he's kind of pushing against, he's had to concentrate to keep Novocaine's teleport from going. He's fighting against this gravity thing. And, he's worried still, Paladin's over there and he's worried about the thing. And you come up and you smash. And there is that moment where he looks up and you see fear in his eyes. And like the suit short circuits and he's smashed down into this hole in the ground that Hoodoo has created and comes down on him, traps him. And we get that, I'm assuming this montage of the 4 of you getting out of the collapsing base.
Yep.
We're right at 15. So I'm going to move to epilogues here. So, epilogues. Well, we can either be a little ways down, we can be in the immediate aftermath, or we can be a ways down the road. Hoodoo, what do we see for your epilogue?
I think we see her and Ricochet out, maybe walking in a nice city park. And that they've kind of become friends, so that they're, not that they still might not be rivals, but that they appreciate each other as a source of strength. And we'll even say like Hoodoo is kind of a better leader, right? She has a little bit more confidence.
Yeah, I think Ricochet kind of respects Hoodoo a little more as maybe I should listen to what she says sometimes.
Nice. Paladin, what is the epilogue for you?
Dad! Running home, hugging him, broken arms and all. Or broken arm and all.
What have you been up to?
Doing what Mom would have done. Trying to help people. Trying to do the right thing. Probably like the biggest moment for Paladin will be when I convince him that, we have these powers and it's our responsibility to use them well. The biggest goal is I finally get him to the point where he invites everybody else over to our place for burger night.
Okay.
Yeah, awesome.
He takes a while to come around to it, but eventually okay, well, let's have your little friends over.
They're my best friends, and he welcomes you into his home.
Novocaine, what is the epilogue for you?
Yeah, I think so. We left Jenna's father.
So when you left, he was trapped.
Floor.
We can figure out where he went from there. The captain got out. You would have gotten Priya out, but
I think we get everybody out, and the same day we sort of go our separate ways. Maybe celebrate a little bit and then go our separate ways. And then we see a scene of me, of the breaking glass in that base and me coming back in there and reaching down. And I think maybe he's unconscious at this point. And I pull him out of that hole and I roll up my sleeve and we see these runes, the power negation runes. And I look down at him and I'm like, you don't deserve to call yourself her father and you don't deserve to call yourself a hero. And I think if this were a normal play, maybe this is out of scope for my powers, but I'm going to take away his powers permanently.
Oh, I think that's perfect. I think that's absolutely right.
Awesome.
Ricochet, Jenna, what is the epilogue for you?
So I think it's, we're back at the halfway house just shortly after, and it's just me and Ishan and I go, I don't think I could have confronted my dad on my own. I don't think I could have saved Priya without you. And, you've been my first real friend ever since I ran off, and I just don't know what I would do if you aren't around. And I think I go in for a quick kiss.
Bam.
Yeah. I'm into it.
Nice.
Maybe it's a little bit more than a quick kiss.
And that's our one shot of masks.
Magnificent.
Thank you all so much.
This was so much fun.
Yeah, that was
great.
I'm sorry I had trouble keeping the rules straight.
No, it's the first time.
It's great.
Yeah.
And it's honestly just with a system like this, you can just play what you think you want to do, and the rules will sort of fall into place. You don't need to know everything that's going on. I thought Paladin was awesome.
Thank you.
Let's do a quick stars, if you don't mind. Just kind of go around thoughts, think people like, notes on that. Greg, can I start with you?
Yeah, awesome. All the players and the GM, everyone did awesome. I really enjoyed this. Definitely like the justice twist at the end. I think you nailed the whole. What I love about Masks is that comic book feeling of you start right in the middle of the action, you get a satisfying story, and then you also see, where things could go.
Mm-hmm.
So I just love that storytelling mechanic, right? Where everything's open. I'd have to say the epilogue where Novocaine goes back is pretty awesome. I like that dark twist. That was awesome. All the epilogues were great. I loved going down. I like the idea of Paladin kind of maybe he's not this tough superhero, right? Where he just rejects to turns into talking and wants us all over at his dad's house for burgers. I thought that was a great human moment.
Yeah.
Yep. Awesome all around.
Jim, any stars you want to throw around?
Yeah, a lot of them. We don't have another hour, so I can't actually tell you all the things I love, but I had a lot of fun. I loved the way everybody was sort of welcoming and nurturing to the newbie who's never played Masks and only played one PBTA game before. I love the way people were just kind of able to roll with the punches of just this is what the players want. Let's do this then. A lot of really good moments. I loved the fact that I was able to contribute to a big emotional scene and have a moment in it without stealing the spotlight from the person who rightfully deserved the spotlight. At least it was my perspective that I didn't steal the spotlight. If I did, I apologize.
You did not.
No, I just love that we each had time to shine, and I love our GM for making sure we had that time to shine. This was just a fun one-shot. I loved it.
This is a very generous table. Like, everyone was incredibly generous with their play, and that was so fun for me to watch as a GM. Everyone was spot on that. Aniket, stars.
Yeah. So big star to Jim for making the beacon really feel like a beacon, like the moral center of the team, and also like that classic beacon scene where they're like getting beat up in front of everyone and still standing strong. Like, that really came through. Star to you, Lowell, for like, I'm looking down the like character creation questions, and like every single one of them came up in play, which is awesome. Like in a 4-hour session, that's amazing. And yeah, it really made it feel like all of our decisions sort of constructed the world.
I'll say this: you all gave me great material to work with. Like, that's the thing, is I'm as good as the material that was given, and all of you gave me great stuff. Like you, when you came up with Priya, and then other people took up with it, that was such a good through line for me.
Yeah, that was going to be my last star. Everybody that was like, oh yeah, Priya's a good character. I'm gonna make her part of my character creation too. That was great.
And Brian, give you last word here.
Yeah. I mean, I think especially towards the so basically, everything I could have hoped that would have happened with Ricochet in a one-shot basically did. So that was super satisfying. So like, stars, like, I hope it didn't feel too spotlight hoggy. People enjoyed that because like, stars for everyone, like, who like really made that story come to life. You for running it, Paladin for standing, by my side, Novocaine for getting so into it, Hoodoo for, that, moment of connection. Like, it just all really worked. And yeah, it was fantastic.
I had a great time running. I want to thank you again, all for coming and playing in this with me. I'm going to stop the recording.